Hello there, friends, and welcome to episode 27 of That One Gaming Podcast. I'm Colin, otherwise known as Delicious Morsels, and here today is Lucas, aka Carnival9. How you doing, Lucas?
Doing good.
All right, and also we've got Neal here, better known as VMK89. How is Neal today?
I am doing great.
If you're new to this podcast, welcome. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google, or one of many other podcasting platforms out there where the three of us get together every other week and we talk about a variety of topics in the world of gaming. This week, we are back with another ranking episode. This time, we're focusing on Nintendo franchises. We chose 20 of the top franchises from the Big N to weigh in on, and things are sure to get spicy as we break them down. As always, we each provided our own personal lists, and we're going to be using them to hammer out an official TOGP tier list with rankings from S tier all the way down to D tier. But before we get into that, Lucas, what have you been playing?
Well, probably for the last time in a good while, Metroid Prime Trilogy, or Remaster. I finally broke the 2-hour, or the 3-hour mark with a nice, what was that, 2 hours, 59 minutes?
Yay! Run. It counts.
Woo!
It is below 3 hours.
Yep. So I'm taking a nice long break from Metroid Prime Remastered.
Understandable.
Yeah, it's safe to say that I think I will have to go back to the GameCube version to do all of the sequence breaks I know how to do in Metroid Prime on the GameCube to lower that time any further, which was my goal, so good job, me. I've also been playing through BioShock, because it's a good game. Got all my footage for that recorded, and should be up on YouTube eventually. It's like 83 gigs worth of video to upload,
nice.
So it's taking a little bit longer than I'm used to. And then I've also been playing through Cave Story, personal favorite game of mine. Very, very high up there. Like, not quite my top 3 like we covered in the very first episode of That One Gaming Podcast. However, it is definitely, I would say, in my top 5. That game is just so good.
Nice.
Currently stuck in the Sacred Grounds or Bloodstained Sanctuary if you subscribe to the Cave Story Plus translation. I think Aeon Genesis did it better personally, but that's just me. But I'm currently struggling my way through the Sacred Grounds because, well, like the sign at the entrance says, "Welcome to Hell."
Hell. I also went to hell in a game that I've been playing, but I'll get to that. Neal, what have you been playing?
I have also been playing BioShock.
Shocking.
It's a good game.
It is. I'm going to have to jam it in and do it quickly soon. But right now I'm still exploring everything and getting all the items I could possibly find. I feel like this is like early enough in the game that it's not a spoiler. So I'm in the tea garden, and honestly, it's weird because the tea garden is the most pleasant looking place I've gotten to in the game, and yet it's the most unsettling part so far too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting to that section too. I was like, oh wow, this looks really nice. Oh my god, what is going on here?
Yeah, ghosts all over the place, and
those lovely Houdini splicers.
Oh, I hate those things so much.
They're so weird.
If you get enough pictures of them, you get the stand still and turn invisible plasmid, which is super useful.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I focused that much on, like, I tried to get pictures of as much as I could in my first playthrough.
I forgot about that immediately.
But then, like, a lot of times I kept forgetting about It's like, oh yeah, I have a camera. I can take pictures
Right.
of these things. And by the time I realize it, they're already dead, so you don't get the bonus.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, not to mention.
you don't get as much of a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So it just takes longer to level up your photos with that specific enemy. That's what I mean.
Yeah, the music too is part of that atmosphere of creepiness. There's lots of
Yeah.
just like string clusters, I think is what it's called. You know,
Yeah.
high pitched strings building up. And there was the one point where you're looking at an item on a table, and suddenly there's a shadow from the light in front of you, and you turn around and there's one of those Houdini splicers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
God, that's terrifying.
Yep.
Anyway, I picked a horror game, and I don't know why. But yeah, I also, let's see, over the month of May, earlier in the month, I was playing Sonic Origins. And if you've been keeping track of the what we've been playing segments, probably like a few episodes back, I was talking about playing through Sonic 2 on there and hitting a bug in Wooden Fortress. The ailerons on the ship that you're supposed to jump on and is the only way to get to the next part of the level just wouldn't come up in a certain spot.
Ooh.
So you just couldn't beat that platforming section, and because of the way it saves in that game, you can't reset. Well, anyway, I decided to start from the very beginning of story mode, which is all the games in a row, and say, okay, that's probably just a one-off thing. I'll just do it again. And hey, I'll do story mode because I haven't actually finished story mode. And you can probably tell where this is going because I got to Sonic 2 and Wing Fortress.
And you got stuck?
I got the exact same glitch.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
And they're about to sell this game all over again in just a few weeks.
Hopefully they've fixed some of these bugs. I have looked up videos online and I can't find anybody else talking about this bug. I have not looked at I think it's a Sonic Retro forum post where they track all of the bugs. However, that is Steam, I'm almost positive, so I don't know if it would apply. But yeah, this game has bugs. Hopefully they fix them. And yeah, I'm pissed because not only did I play through Sonic 1 and Sonic CD, but I also played through Sonic CD, getting all the good features via the robot generators in the past, and going above and beyond as well by, after doing that, time traveling all the way to the good future, so I see the good future version of every single level. And then I got to Sonic 2 and got soft locked essentially, or I don't even know if it's soft lock because I can't reset it. So, yeah,
that's very unfortunate. Yeah,
yeah, I'm bitter.
Understandably so.
I was enjoying the game. Like, I didn't have too many issues. There were some like minor things, but like, yeah. And I'm also wondering if it's because of how I play through Wing Fortress, because I take some shortcuts through the level to speed up the process of Wing Fortress Zone because it's way too freaking long.
Yeah.
But it must, if that is the case, it must be the initial time I go through the shortcut is causing it, because I've redone the level without using the shortcut and the ailerons still don't come up. So, I don't know. I'm hoping Origins Plus is going to be a free patch. If they do it the Mania style, they probably will be. Well, how did they do that? I think they did a free patch, but then Encore mode was like DLC. I don't know. If they add something, I'm probably going to buy it, especially if Origins gets patches.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the main two things I've been playing. Colin, what have you been playing?
Well, I mentioned a game similar to Lucas Going Into Hell, where I was playing a game where I was also going into hell. So yesterday, I played through the game Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice because there's a sequel to it coming out on Xbox either later this year or sometime next year. It doesn't actually have a release date yet, but it's soon. And they showed a trailer for the second game, and it was just like mind-blowing, the graphical technology that they've got going with that for like the facial capture and everything now, like because
Ooh.
the new game is built in Unreal Engine 5 and is taking advantage of all the new technology in UE5 for graphics and facial capture and stuff. It just
Right.
literally looked lifelike. And then
Huh.
at the end of the trailer, it shows the actress in her little rig for the facial capture at the end of it. So it's like the whole time through the trailer, you think you're actually seeing a real person, but you're actually seeing the model. And then at the very end, it's like, no, that
Oh,
was
I've seen this
fake the whole
trailer.
time. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like all the fire effects and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I saw that. I was like, well, okay, this looks interesting. And I picked up the first game this week. So I decided to give it a try last night. It's a short game. It was like 8 hours. Shorter if you're good at the puzzles. So you play as Senua, who is a Celt warrior around the time period that the Vikings are starting to invade Ireland and that region and all that. And Senua is on a quest to go into the depths of hell, like the Viking hell, Helheim, in order to reclaim the soul of her lover who was sacrificed to the Viking gods while she was away on exile. And Senua has also got like severe mental disorder. She suffers from an extreme case of psychosis, especially.
Oh, geez.
So the audio design in this game is just absolutely phenomenal. Like it's literally the only time I've actually like grabbed headphones for a console game and played it with
Huh.
headphones because it's designed. She's got all these voices that are constantly berating her inside her head. And the game
Oh.
uses 3D audio to kind of like simulate them being all around her in different places and positions and stuff. So when you've got headphones in, it's just
Huh.
completely insane. The game is kind of like almost like borderline sensory overload because it's really trying to simulate these mental illnesses with like all the voices and hallucinations and stuff. They actually brought in for the development of this game actual experts on these type of disorders to kind of advise, and they brought in a whole panel of people that actually do have these symptoms and stuff to kind of guide and offer their advice to sort of to the dev team on to kind of build it out in a way that's actually representative of what these people are experiencing when they have this illness. So this entire time you're going through this game and you've just got voices just whispering in your head. It's like just kind of like second guessing everything that Senna was doing in the moment. And there's like you'd be walking up to a door and you have a bunch of voices whispering in your ears like, don't go through the door. Don't do it. It's dangerous. No, wait. You don't want to do this. Don't open it. No. And then you open a door and they're like, she opened it. I can't believe she opened it. Why would she do that? And just crazy stuff like that. And she's got this other voice that's just kind of guiding her through the like guiding her through Helheim in a way, just explaining the Norse beliefs and stuff to her because she's a Celt. It's all foreign to her and she's going into like this foreign hell sort of thing. So she knows nothing about all these gods and stuff that she's encountering. But it's like it's a really cool story the way it's presented like that. And it's really cool. I would say this game is more an experience than a game, really. Like there's combat in it, and the combat's pretty fun. I actually really enjoyed the combat. It felt a little bit kind of like the 2018 God of War, but not as fancy. Like you've got your heavy attack and your light attack, and you could do light combos between them, but there's nothing like crazy chaining or anything that you can do. And you have a little power that charges up where you can activate focus mode, and it just kind of slows down enemies' movement, so that way you can get around them and flank them and stuff. But what I like about the combat is all of your swings of your sword feel like they actually have weight to them. Like the combat was very satisfying in that regard. It felt like every time I was making contact with an enemy, it was like really, really smacking them. And I really enjoyed that. They didn't just feel like you'd hit them with the sword and they're like, whatever. It's like you're swinging a stick at me for all I care. So the combat felt really satisfying. And then the other aspect of the gameplay was a lot of puzzles based on like perspective type puzzles where you have these doors and they have Nordic runes on them, and you have to basically take those runes and then find places in the environment that kind of make those shapes by looking at them in a certain perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all like lining up objects in the environment to a certain perspective to match up to a shape and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of puzzles like that in the game. Some of them were a little bit frustrating, but I imagine that was also kind of like what they were going for with it, kind of like tying that into the mental illness aspect of it, because a lot of mental illnesses are like seeing things that aren't really there, but you are absolutely just full on convinced like that
Yeah.
is your reality, sort of. So it
Mhm.
was kind of playing into themes of that. But overall, it was a fantastic experience. It was I wouldn't say this game is for the faint of heart. There are some very, very intense moments, both like from a sensory perspective, and also just like there's some really like nasty body horror and stuff in the game as well, because you're like traveling through the depths of hell, and there's like arms and stuff in the walls that are reaching out and trying to grab you in some areas, and it's just like some really nasty areas you go through. But I enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to the sequel for this game. I'm wondering with the way that they closed off this, what they're gonna do with the second one, but it should be good. And then also, I've been playing a game that I don't think many people have heard of, but it just came out on the 12th of May. It's this little indie game by the name of The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Just
Yeah, I
just
think I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just this little game, no big
A
deal.
couple people were mentioning it on Twitter. Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard about it.
I don't think a lot of people are really talking about it though.
Nah, just like 2 people.
Yeah, well, no, but
Most
like,
of which is Colin.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, this game, guys, holy crap. For one thing, I want to talk about the story, because like that's one of my favorite things about video games is the stories that they're able to tell. And Breath of the Wild had an okay story. I mentioned a while back when I was talking about it on the podcast how I liked the way it actually made Zelda feel like more of a character for once. And but aside from that, like Breath of the Wild was still really story light, and a lot more of the focus was just on the exploration of it. But this time around, they're focusing a lot more on the story, and it's pretty wild so far. But I've done, of the 4 temples, I've done 2 of them so far, and I'm working my way through the 3rd right now. And these are just great classic temple designs from the series. It's like Breath of the Wild, the divine beasts were a little bit of a departure, but these temples feel more like traditional Zelda dungeons,
Cool.
in that you go to the dungeon, you get a power. In this game, the power that you get in the dungeon is manifested in the form of a new companion that follows you around, and they have a specific ability that kind of ties into the theme of that dungeon. And then all of the boss fights at the end of the dungeon so far have been absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best in the series, I think. Like, just they all utilize really, really unique mechanic, and they're just super fun. Like, one of them, you're just like the entire fight, you're fighting while you're floating on your paraglider. Like, you do not touch land for the entirety of this boss fight, and it's so cool. There's just this like constant, like really strong updraft that keeps pushing you up and pushing you up. And then you let go of your paraglider and pull out your bow to do some slow motion attacks to strike the boss down and stuff. Just really, really fun. Really fun bosses so far. I'm looking forward to what this third boss is going to be. I'm doing the water temple right now.
I love water temples in Legend of Zelda games.
Yeah.
Especially Ocarina of Time. Unpopular opinion.
Well, what's neat about these dungeons also is it's not just the dungeon itself, but it's the entire process of getting to the dungeon that feels really satisfying. Like, it's almost like you have the portion where you get to the temple and then it says you have reached the lightning temple or something like that. But before you get there, there's a whole series of events that you have to go to in order to climb up and get into the temple itself. That is also just almost part of the dungeon in and of itself, but just separate.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they all utilize like mechanics and stuff. Like the way to the water temple, you've got like the traditional like raising and lowering of the water type thing that you've got to do to kind of traverse through this area to work your way up to the water temple itself. That's really cool. And you've got like, you get special armor from the Zora that was also in Breath of the Wild that allows you to climb waterfalls and stuff. So it makes use of that mechanic.
Cool.
But yeah, this is a fantastic, phenomenal game. The amount of creativity that this game just lets you have is insane with
people building Metal Gear Rex.
Literally building Metal Gear Rex. You can build mechs, you can build airplanes, you can build cars, you can build cars that are also airplanes, you can build airplanes that are also mechs. Like, it's just, there's so much room for creativity with the systems that they built in this game, and just the game wants you to break it, but you can't. It's ridiculous. Like, the game is literally saying, hey, break me. I dare you. And then it's just like, you try and you try and you can't. It just does it. And then there's so much about the game and its design that is just like, kind of like the yes and philosophy. It's like you ask the game, it's like, well, what happens if it's like, can I like glue these together? Is this going to work? And the game's just like, yeah, but what else you want to do with it? Because I bet you that'll work too. It's super cool. Like, I've seen so many like goofy weapon combinations. Like I saw a goblin running around with a sword that had a fried fish glued to the tip, and it was chasing me around, swinging that thing at me. I was like, really?
Finally, the Master Sword can be bees.
Yeah, you can glue a beehive to the end of your sword, and your sword is bees.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's also a double-edged sword because the bees don't discriminate when they come out of their hive. It's like you think that since you've got them on your sword that you are now weaponizing these bees.
Nope.
But nope. If there's
You're
nothing,
just shaking a beehive around, essentially.
Pretty much. They don't care. They're going to go after the nearest target. Most of the time, that's you.
Well, yeah, you're the one holding the bees.
Yep. Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm not nearly creative enough to like build a freaking Gundam in the game or anything, but I found a lot of satisfaction in just going all the way to the just absolute excess whenever I build something. Like, usually when you're presented with a puzzle in the game, you're presented with a bunch of materials that are just lying around that'll help you kind of solve the puzzle that you're trying to solve. But they always give you more than you realistically need in order to do whatever you're trying to do. So I just use everything.
We've spared no expense.
I spared no expense. I use literally everything at my disposal. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it just doesn't. Sometimes you strap rockets to a wooden platform and think that's a great idea. It's like, well, these rockets are going to get me up high in the sky, right? And then it does, but they're rockets with fire, and you're standing on a board of wood that is flammable. So the wood catches fire halfway up into the air, and then you're just in free fall.
Yeah.
But also burning because you catch on fire as well. It's just ridiculous.
Legend of Zelda Korok Space Program.
Yeah, you can just strap a rocket to a Korok and get your ultimate revenge. I have seen many people building wooden crosses and gluing the Koroks to the cross. Oh man. I've got to wonder with some of the things I've seen made in this game if the ratings board is really regretting that E for Everyone rating. There have been some very, very crazy questions in this game.
Good.
But what's really insane about this is I looked at my Switch's playtime on it this morning after I was done playing for a little bit, and I've just crossed over 40 hours in the game. And I've got the entire overworld map uncovered. I haven't explored it all, but I've revealed it all on my map.
Yeah.
And I've got all the sky islands and stuff. I've got all that area revealed because when you basically there's towers all throughout. There's like a tower in each region of the map. You go to the tower, it shoots you up in the air. Like literally like a bunch of robot arms come out. They attach a USB cable to your little tablet and then they strap a zip wire sort of contraption to your waist, and then they just shoot you straight up in the air, and then you use the tablet to kind of photograph the topography of the area, and then you let go of the USB cord, and then you just kind of free fall all the way down to the ground from there, and that lets you kind of get to sky islands in the area and stuff like that, or you can just like use it to traverse the overworld it more efficiently. But so I've done all of those, but there's still an entire underground that I have barely explored that spans the entire length of Hyrule.
Yikes.
It's huge. And I have only
Dang.
I've explored just such a small portion of it because I've been focusing on the overworld and the Sky Islands so far. I'm 40 hours into this game and I barely touched it down there. It's crazy. Like, it's just absolutely insane how much they packed into this game, and it's on a freaking Switch cartridge. The game is like 16 and a half gigabytes.
Dang.
That's it. And it's got all of this content in it. It's like, the Zelda team just does not mess around. I swear. Like, Breath of the Wild completely revolutionized the open world genre of games in 2017. And we were like, well, how are they going to top it up? And then Tears of the Kingdom rolls in and does it again. It's crazy. I've never seen a game that has like this, just the sheer level of freedom that this game offers you to just do whatever.
Yeah.
The tools it gives you and just everything is just absolutely phenomenal. Like, such a good game. Such a good game. I can't wait to play more. I've been kind of like when I played Senua's Sacrifice last night, because I've noticed this game is going to take a lot of my time because I don't really want to rush through it because I'm really, really enjoying it still. I haven't reached that point where I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to critical path through the rest of this game and just finish it. Like I'm still after 40 hours, like really, really invested in it. I might get 100 hours out of it, like I did Xenoblade 3 last year, honestly. But I realized that because I'm gonna get that much out of it, there are still other games I want to play. So I've just kind of started breaking up my play sessions a little bit more to make room for other games like Senua's Sacrifice yesterday and stuff. So I can just take my time with Zelda and not feel like I have to like push myself through it because it's so much fun. But yeah, Zelda is only one Nintendo franchise that we're going to talk about later in a little bit more of a discussionary format. But we've also got, in addition to that, 19 other franchises that we are going to discuss here. So let's move on into our main topic discussion, shall we?
Yep. Welcome to the last episode of That One Gaming Podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be interesting because like just looking at all of our lists, getting ready for the show, like there are some things that we all agree on unanimously, but the majority of everything else is just all over the place. So this is going to be interesting.
Yep.
But anyway, we're going to roll through the franchises that we chose. We're going to roll through them in alphabetical order. Just because that is the order that the tier maker spat out my list in. So it just makes the most sense to just do it that way rather than try to organize things by some other form of organization that might feel a little bit biased in a way.
Sorry, Zelda.
Yeah. So we'll get back to Zelda all the way at the end.
Yep.
The first franchise that we are going to rank today is Animal Crossing. Lucas has it at D.
Yep.
Oh my god. Neal is at B. And I have it at B. Okay. Lucas, you don't like Animal Crossing.
Correct.
I have a feeling if your wife was making the tier list, it would be complete opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of my experience with Animal Crossing come from the GameCube version, which is a remake
Same
of
here.
the Japanese N64 version. But yeah, I played it regularly for quite a while. I got it as a birthday present, actually. And then just one day I kind of fell off of it because like I was just doing the same thing over and over again and got bored with it.
Yeah, that's kind of my experience with playing it on the GameCube as well.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's definitely that like I played a fair bit of the GameCube version, and then I played the 3DS version, and I played the Switch version. And yeah, it's like it starts out really, really fun, and then it's just the monotony sets in, and like some people enjoy that kind of thing, but for me, it's fun for a little while, but then for me especially, it's just kind of like it loses its appeal a little bit.
Where did you rank it, Colin?
I gave it a
don't have
B.
yours posted. Okay.
I give it a B. I mean, I don't hate it because I have enjoyed my time with it. It's very easy to fall off of it after after playing it for like a week. I think I played like the Switch one for like a week, 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
And was like, all right, I'm ready for something else. I'm just going around digging holes and cutting down trees and just doing the same thing over and over again. At least the Switch version had a nice multiplayer feature that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would help that a lot. And also the Switch version got super hyped because it came out right
at the beginning of the pandemic.
Right at the same time as Doom Eternal.
Yep.
Some fantastic memes came out of that.
Yeah, it did.
Doom guy just wants to chill and decorate his house. Meanwhile, Isabel is a hard-drinking alcoholic with the interest in destroying every demon in sight.
Also, Tom Nook is a piece of trash.
I thought he was a Tanuki.
He's a trash panda.
I crash into Mr. Resetti all the time in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Is he even still in the newer ones? 'Cause you can't really reset a Switch.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
I haven't. I literally have not touched Animal Crossing since
Yeah, fair enough.
I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
3 years ago now.
Also, just kind of speaking from personal experience, if I wanted to like change the carpet or decorate the walls of a house, I can just do that in my own house. I don't need a video game for it.
One thing I did like about the Switch version though was that it gave you the option to like make your own type of patterns and stuff, and they were like pixel based, so you could do like really cool pixel art. So I did like a mural of like Darth Vader and stuff in my house, which was really cool. And
Nice.
like you could do some cool stuff with it if you have the creative mind for it. But
Yeah.
Ultimately, there's just not enough there to keep me going long term. Like there's no story to it, so I'm not invested in that way.
Yeah.
So I think 2 B's and a D. I think we'll drop it in C, especially now. I'm kind of now speaking of it more. I'm thinking I'm landing more in the C territory anyway myself now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. Fair. Yeah, we'll put Animal Crossing at C. Hey Neal.
Yeah.
We're putting Animal Crossing at C.
Okay.
Just getting ahead of that now.
Oh boy.
Okay.
All right.
It's been a good run of 27 episodes, folks.
Anyway, we got through the first one relatively painlessly. So let's move on to our second franchise, which is Donkey Kong. So I don't know if you guys did this as well, but I was lumping in the Donkey Kong Country as well as like the traditional Donkey Kong, like Donkey Kong 94 on the Game Boy, like all in.
I completely
like one thing.
forgot about that part of Donkey Kong.
That's fine. It's fine. It's a very good. It's a very very good Game Boy game, but they haven't really done anything with like that form of Donkey Kong in a very long time. That's just the GBA. I think the GBA was the last time they really played with it. Maybe the DS.
No, there was DS, and I want to say even a 3DS one.
Was there?
Wasn't there?
I know they did like the toy Mario versus Donkey
that was
Kong
Donkey
or something
Kong.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a DS game though, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Whatever. Anyway,
like Mario versus Donkey Kong and Mario
there was a Wii
Donkey Kong
Mario
March of the Minis.
Yeah.
They did a whole series with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kept coming out on various.
I think those were more like.
Yeah.
I don't know if those were
Minis
like
March Again 3DS.
Yeah, I don't know if those were like totally traditional Donkey Kong. So I think the Mario, like the versus Donkey Kong thing, was a little bit different from like a traditional Donkey Kong.
A little bit,
but closer to Donkey Kong. Original than Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, for sure.
Or Donkey Kong or Donkey Konga and Donkey Kong Jungle Blast.
Yeah, Jungle Beat.
Yeah, Jungle Beat.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're more in agreement on this one. Okay. Actually, I am the wild card in this one.
Interesting.
Lucas, you have it at A. Neal's got it at A. I put it at B.
Fair.
Just because my A tier was getting a little crowded already, so I just kind of dumped it down into B tier.
Also, like all of the Donkey Kong Country games that I'm like nostalgic for, like 1, 2, kind of 3, even like Donkey Kong Country Returns. Those are all incredibly difficult platformers.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
They're great though. They look great. They sound great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Donkey Kong Country
they're very hard.
Has some fantastic art direction.
Yeah.
They were the ones who started that trend of having like platformer levels with the silhouettes.
Yeah.
And God, those were the coolest levels.
Ain't Retro Studios great?
Yeah. Should have been Metroid Prime 4.
We'll get there eventually.
To Metroid Prime 4 or to
hopefully this
Metroid
year.
as a franchise?
Prime 4. Hopefully we'll get it this year.
Yep. Yeah, even the classic Donkey Kong Country games still are like some of the best looking SNES games and best sounding SNES games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they definitely hold up a lot.
Yeah, those beautiful pre-rendered 3D graphics done on Silicon Graphics rendering workstations. Same sort of thing that they rendered Transformers Beast Wars and Reboot on.
Yeah. Do you ever play the Game Boy Donkey Kong Countries?
No.
Me either. But I heard they're impressive for what they were, but the screen crunch really, really affected it.
Yeah. Also, these were like original Game Boy games.
Yeah.
Rather than Game Boy Color. So
yep.
This is like taking the nice SGI pre-rendered graphics from the SNES version and then doing them up in 4-color monochrome on a Game Boy screen. The results are, in typical Game Boy fashion, not great.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say it looks better than the Game Boy Mortal Kombat games, because those look real bad.
Yeah.
That is actually the first way I played Donkey Kong Country was on the Game Boy. And I think I still have my copy, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Becca has a copy of Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Advance when they did the remakes of the trilogy for that.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah. I actually found a glitch in one of the levels in the first area where you can clip through a cave wall.
Nice.
Just be soft locked. There's a ledge where there's one of those rollable tire trampoline things, and if you rolled off the ledge into that tire, then if you timed it right, you would land in front of the tire and the tire would push you through the wall. And then you would just be falling indefinitely because you fall underneath the level where there's no kill plane. And then if you venture into an area with a kill plane, it doesn't kill you because you're already underneath it.
Oh.
Yeah. So
you're soft. Yeah, you're soft locked. Yeah. It's a fate worse than death.
Yep. And the day that I found that, I actually fired up my SNES and went to that level to see if it worked in the original, and it seems to be a Game Boy Advance specific glitch.
Huh. Anyway, let's plop down Donkey Kong then at A.
A-OK. Or A-D-K in this case.
He was also in the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
You can find our thoughts on that in That One Gaming Podcast, episode 25.
Yeah,
we did an episode where we reviewed the movie.
It's the leader of the
Mario
bunch.
Month. Plugging it all.
Yep. It's the leader of the bunch, you know him well. He's finally back to get spoilers in episode 25, actually. Go listen to that.
Anyway, our next franchise that we are going to cover today, now that we placed Donkey Kong down at A ranking.
We put down Donkey Kong. Rest in peace.
We put him down. Sorry. R.I.P. Donkey Kong. Our next franchise is Earthbound, commonly known as the Mother franchise. So, Lucas, you put Earthbound at A. Neal put Earthbound at S. And I also put Earthbound at A. It is
I'm the odd one out.
Neal's the odd one out this time.
I think it'd be Lucas.
Yeah.
Or Colin.
So here's the thing, is that only 2/3 of the Mother franchises are good games.
That's true. One of them was never officially released here.
Yep.
Yeah, but it still counts.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But it was never actually officially released here, and it sucks.
It
Yeah.
does.
It sucks that it was officially released here. That the game doesn't suck.
Yep.
No, it doesn't.
In a vacuum, Earthbound and Mother 3 are absolutely S tier games, but
Right. Mother kind of drags it down for you. Okay.
yeah, that's literally the only reason why I put it in my A tier, because you know,
Mother 1 exists.
yep, Mother 1 exists. It's not great.
But
even with like the
lamps.
I mean, you
What
can
other
get
game
attacked
do you get
at Earthbound.
That's true. Okay,
Get
you can be
attacked by
attacked
lamps in Earthbound. And
Yeah, so for me putting it in A rank, there's obviously the Mother 1 thing kind of drags it down a little bit. I was also being very, very choosy with what I put in S rank. I didn't want to like saturate it. So I've only got 4 games that I put in S. Like,
ooh.
So
apparently I was even more strict at 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was gonna just have 2, and I was like, there's a couple where I was like, I can't not put these up there. But yeah, so I was being really, really strict with my S tier ranking. So that kind of Earthbound just kind of fell out because of that. But also just as a RPG fan, I never really cared for the first person battle systems.
Oh, you haven't played Mother 3 yet.
So okay. Yeah, I haven't played Mother 3 yet, so maybe that remedies it. But in Earthbound, it's like it's fine. I just like seeing my characters on the screen when I'm playing them. Like that was one thing.
Mother 3 yet? You see the
characters. Played Mother 3 yet. Good. I'm glad that was fixed.
Have you really even played Earthbound yet? Or
yeah, I mean I haven't beaten it, but I played it. Like I've played Earthbound several times over the years. I've just never finished it.
Yeah. Okay, so the cartridge you own is not just a flex then.
I mean, it's a flex, but I have played it.
It's not just a flex.
The last game I had slotted into my Super Nintendo was Earthbound.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I will say Earthbound does have one of my favorite battle systems of any RPG.
The battle system itself is cool.
Yeah.
It's just the perspective that holds it back for me.
Understandable.
Because like what I was getting into was like when I first started dabbling in making my own games, I got into RPG Maker 2000. And that was a first-person perspective battle system, and I just hated it. I was like, I want to make a game like Final Fantasy, and I can't do it with this first-person perspective battle system.
Gotcha.
RPG Maker 2003 was side view, but it was more difficult to like do custom sprites and stuff for it because of that. Like that was something I didn't really factor into it, not being a sprite artist. But
yeah, it's hard.
But
I kind of could. I did all the sprite work for my capstone project, so there's that.
But yeah, so it's just like the first person battle system for RPGs. It's just always been kind of a sticking point for me. So
yeah, that's fair.
That didn't stop me from making several projects in RPG Maker 2000 though, before I finally got XP, which is vastly superior, but also first person. Because XP is first person too, but you just have like character portraits at the bottom of the screen for your characters.
Right.
And I didn't like that either, but it was at least a step up from just all you see on the screen is the enemy.
Yeah. One of these days we'll get into VX Ace.
Yeah.
So Earthbound is going in A, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll put it
I
at
can
the top
concede
of
to
A.
that. Okay.
We'll put it at the top of A.
Yeah.
And next up is a franchise that starts with F, is often forgotten by Nintendo. F-Zero, the superior racing game on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Super Mario Kart. I will say, though, Super Mario Kart does have one thing over F-Zero, and that it has a multiplayer mode.
Yes. Yeah, it's
one thing that kind of always bothered me about F-Zero on the SNES.
Yeah, it was just single player only. It's like, why? Lucas, you put F-Zero at C.
Yep.
Neal put it at A.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it at B.
Right.
This is our first one where we are all completely split on it.
Yep.
So I don't have super strong feelings about this one. I haven't actually played too much of F-Zero. I've played a little bit of the SNES port on, I guess it's a port on the Switch Online. And I've always really wanted to play the GameCube one because it looks really good, but money and finding it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I can confidently say I like the series because I played Mario Kart 8 and there's F-Zero tracks. There are some overlapping mechanics, sort of.
Yeah. And also, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a couple of my favorite tracks are Mute City and Big Blue in that game.
Yes, they are very good.
Yes. Yes, the soundtracks are fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
that is like hard rock heaven right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played the GBA games or the 64 game.
I've played the 64 game on emulator, which, I mean, isn't the exact experience, but...
Apparently, it's actually really good on the Switch Online port now.
Like, oh, cool. They actually made Switch Online and 64 good. Cool.
Yeah, like the Switch Online version of the game is actually like full 60 FPS, like locked.
Oh.
Supposedly it's really good. I just haven't bought the expansion pack, so I don't have the ability to play it.
Yeah.
But I played I had the original growing up, and unfortunately that was one of my games that was lost in my parents' barn collapse. And I haven't gotten around to repurchasing it yet. But I've also played the GameCube version. F-Zero GX is just a phenomenal racing game.
Yes.
It's so just the high, like you actually feel like you're going as fast as you're going. Like the speed mechanics in that game are so satisfying.
Yeah. As a result, I am terrible at it because
it's very fast.
Most of my F-Zero experience goes into the SNES game and F-Zero X on the 64, which cannot compete with the very realistically simulated level of speed that you move at in F-Zero GX.
Yeah.
And presumably also F-Zero AX, the arcade game.
Yeah, it'd be fun to find one of those somewhere. Same with the Mario Kart arcade.
Yeah. I believe I actually found an arcade, if I remember correctly. I think there's... I want to say it's in like Sterling Heights, Michigan, that has a 3-cabinet setup of F-Zero AX.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
how many hosts do we have for this podcast again?
Depending on the day, it could range anywhere from 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mavis.
Well, she's not old enough to drive yet, so. Thankfully, anyway. Dada here has a couple of years on that one.
But anyway, so since we had an A, a B, and a C, I think that pretty firmly puts F-Zero at B.
I think so.
So F-Zero is our first B ranking.
We didn't really touch on the Game Boy Advance games, but they are gameplay-wise very similar to F-Zero on the SNES.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Yeah. Have either of you played the BS Satellaview F-Zero 2 expansion?
No.
I had no idea the Satellaview was a thing until, like, not that long ago.
I don't know what it is.
It is a satellite game service for the Super Famicom.
Okay, interesting.
There was
Maybe I've heard of this. Is this in Japan only?
probably.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, it's not like the Sega Channel accessory that actually got brought over to North America.
Okay.
But it's the same kind of concept. It's like a satellite download service for exclusive games for the Super Nintendo.
Right.
But there was a F-Zero kind of sort of sequel on the Satellaview that there's a bunch of new tracks available, but still, I believe, retains the original 4 carts that you could play. You got the Blue Falcon and the Fire Stingray and the Green Goose and the Golden Fox, or Wild Goose, not Green Goose. So yeah, it's just kind of more F-Zero SNES tracks. I don't know if we'll touch on it when we get to Zelda, but there was a couple of Satellaview Zelda games. Zelda: The Ancient Stone Tablets, which was like a multi-entry Link to the Past style game. And then there was actually just a straight-up SNES remake of Legend of Zelda 1.
Nice.
Yeah, satellite services for games are interesting. Like the Sega Channel in both Japan and North America got Mega Man: The Wily Wars, which is a remake for the Genesis / Mega Drive of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 with a unlockable Wily Tower mode if you complete all 3 games. And there's some interesting emulator issues in Gens, and I believe Gens Plus as well, regarding the serial EEPROM save method that game uses, because they didn't support it, so you can't actually unlock Wily Tower if you're playing the good Genesis verified ROM of that game. You actually have to use an alternate dump that used a more traditional battery-backed save RAM. I've spent too much time on TAS videos and playing around with re-recording emulators. I know too much.
Let's move along.
Lucas knows too much.
He knows too much. Get him! Send the ninjas!
It's been a good 27 episodes. Enjoy the company of Colin and Neal.
Alright, so F-Zero was at B rank. Let's move on to our next franchise, Fire Emblem. So, Lucas, you gave it a D. Neal was more kind and gave it a B. And I gave it an A. Very, very split on this one. I kind of anticipated that.
Yeah.
Although
this is one I was anticipating being very diverse as well.
Fire Emblem is a franchise that I really, really appreciate. I haven't played many of them. Actually, really, I've only played 4 of them. Played a little bit of Path of Radiance on the GameCube, but negligible amounts of it. I think I only played the first probably hour of the game, so I don't really count it because it's only one battle. That's it. But Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance was my introduction to the series. If you listen to the episode that we published 2 weeks ago, which was our first side quest, you would have gotten a little bit of my introduction into the series, because Max and I both went over our stepping on points for Fire Emblem as a franchise before we got into our main discussion of Fire Emblem Engage. But yeah, I got into it with the GBA game and was just kind of blown away at just the I don't know what it was, but something about the strategic combat in that game just flipped a switch in my brain. I was like, this is cool. And the permadeath aspect of it was also highly addicting. I don't play with it anymore because I just find myself resetting whenever a character that I care about dies. So it was like, well, if I'm just going to do that, I'm going to save myself the time and just turn off permadeath. But back when permadeath was not an option, it was just that was the game. It was such a cool thing to experience, really. It's like, well, every single one of these units, they can just at any point die. It doesn't matter how important they are to the story. If they die, they're done. And that's something I always really appreciated about the series back then. That and like, yeah, just like the strategic combat just flipped a switch in my brain. It's just really, really satisfying to move all these pieces around this game board, basically, and really feel like you're outsmarting the computer. But usually the computer's outsmarting you. But yeah.
And
I don't have a
there's
ton of
like-
experience with this one. I just kind of, for ones I don't have a ton of experience with, I kind of just rate it on like how it appeals to me and how I think it generally appeals. And so I think this one is one that looks interesting, and I see a lot of people talking highly about it.
Yeah, me too. I don't get it.
Yeah, you put it at D.
I did. It's like turn-based strategy games have just kind of never jived with me.
Okay, Lucas, we've had this discussion before, though. You just played a turn-based strategy game last night.
Cave Story?
Weren't you at Magic last night?
Oh yeah.
Did you not play Magic last night?
No, he definitely did. I was there.
Yep,
That's a turn-based strategy game, Lucas.
it is.
Most board games are.
Yeah, do you like board games?
I do, and that's the weird thing.
Do you like anime? Because Fire Emblem gets anime as hell.
Yeah, some of the time.
Yeah. I think if you gave it an honest shake, probably like with one of the more modern entries, I think if you started with like Fire Emblem Awakening or Fire Emblem Engage, I think you'd find something you like about it.
Probably.
It's a very good series.
Yeah. It's no Cowboy Bebop, though, is it?
I mean, what is?
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop just set the bar so high.
Yep. That also weirdly reminds me, like, really like Dot Hack Sign, but never really could get into the Dot Hack games on the PlayStation 2 that take place in the same universe at the same time.
I always wanted to, but was always never sure where to start with those. And now money.
Yeah. That quadrilogy is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a game I would consider revisiting, which is why it's at the very top of my D tier.
So we have a A, a B, and top of D. I think B tier is fair
I think so.
Because
like
another reason that I rank it so high is just where it sits as far as Nintendo themselves are concerned with the franchise now, because Fire Emblem, Nintendo has said, is like one of their next generation of like marquee franchises. Like,
yeah,
it's not quite your Mario, your Pokemon, stuff like that, but it's kind of like just the step below that as far as Nintendo's concerned. Like, it's an important franchise to them, and they are like investing in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow over time, because the series almost died. If it weren't like, yeah,
it wasn't for Smash Bros.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, no, it was because Smash Bros. Wasn't really holding it up either. It was right around the time Fire Emblem Awakening came out that the series just kind of got this huge influx of support again, and Awakening basically, pun intended, awakened the franchise for like just gave it a second breath, or a second wind, and it's carried it all the way. And then Three Houses did it again.
So we're blaming Sakurai again. This is all your fault, Masahiro Sakurai.
But anyway, with Fire Emblem at B tier, let's move on to our next one.
Just one more thing before we move on to the next one.
Okay.
there's too many Fire Emblem characters in Super Smash Brothers. Give us an actual dedicated Fire Emblem anime fighter already.
I agree. That would be
I
awesome.
actually would play that
Give
to
us-
death.
Yeah, like an Arc System Works Fire Emblem fighting game. That would be
Absolutely. 10 out of 10 would play that to death.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Plus, then you'd have a lot more like individuality between some of the characters as well, too.
Yeah, Lucina and Marth wouldn't have to be the same character, but worse.
Yeah,
Roy could actually be better than Marth, maybe.
because he's our boy.
Yep.
Roy's our boy.
I still play Roy over Marth, even though
Me
it's
too.
been clearly demonstrated that Marth is the air quotes better character.
But there's only one of them that's our boy, and that's Roy.
Yep. I lean more into rushdown and fighting games typically, and honestly, Roy's sword hitbox being at the hilt instead of the tip, like Marth's, does not make a bit of difference to me. Like, I will get right up in your face, hitbox to hitbox, and I will swords dance and counter you to death.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments saying, yeah, but I could curb stomp you. To which I say, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's why Roy is not my main. I play Ganondorf most of the time, because Suicide is badass.
On to our next franchise, which is Game and Watch.
Mr. Game and Watch!
Well, we were mostly unanimous on this. Lucas, you have it at D.
Yep.
Neal has it at C, and I also put it at D. I mean, it's iconic, but it's not great.
Yeah.
I will say, spoilers, but I don't have any D ranks, so C is my lowest tier.
Yeah. I also noticed that you don't have any in your highest ranked list, which is SONIC rank.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, there weren't any icons for that one, so I just had to hope that you knew what goes there.
Yep. It's nothing in Neal's top tier.
Oof. I think it's pretty definitively in the D ranking.
Yeah, it's nothing personal against Game & Watch, because, I mean, for its time, this was, like, before the Game Boy. This is what the ingenious idea of Gunpei Yokoi before the Game Boy. And I appreciate all of the work that can be attributed to Gunpei Yokoi, but
like if Game & Watch didn't exist, Nintendo wouldn't exist.
Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, these are like Nintendo brand Tiger Electronic games.
Yeah.
Not really a ton of replayability. It's like good entertainment for a car ride sort of thing if you didn't have a Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's really just not a lot there, and like you can't really do much to like modernize it either.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great at its time. It's an iconic franchise, but it's just nowhere anything else that has come since.
Yep.
Like basically as soon as the NES got big, and especially the Game Boy, like Game & Watch was just kind of a relic of the past from then on.
Yeah. Gunpei Yokoi, also designer of the Game Boy, is probably the result, or like the reason why the Game & Watch, also by Gunpei Yokoi, kind of died off.
Yeah.
Could just be because of like the time during which I came into existence, but like I had never heard of the Game & Watch until Mr.
Smash
Game
Bros?
& Watch. Yeah.
In Smash Bros. Yep.
I always thought the first Nintendo handheld was the Game Boy, and that was it. Nothing before. Why would there be?
Right.
Completely ignoring that Nintendo is actually a century old plus. And making all sorts of things from like Hanafuda trading card or playing card games to love hotels, taxi
Yeah,
services.
yeah. I was gonna say, it's like, didn't they have like a chain of brothels at one point?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old family-friendly Nintendo.
Just actually like regular toys, not even like video game toys. Like that Nintendo NB blocks that make an appearance in Super Mario Land 2.
Huh.
Also, I believe Super Mario Brothers 2, because like there's kind of places at times that look like it's made out of Legos, but Nintendo had their own NB block competitor to Lego.
Huh. Did not know this.
Makes sense. Moving on. Our next franchise is Kid Icarus. And Lucas, you gave it a D.
Game's trash.
Neal gave it a B.
Hmm.
And I gave it a D.
Oh.
Hey,
Wow.
it was good enough for Mario to play it in the movie. No,
debatable.
Yeah.
That's probably the most love the franchise has seen since Kid Icarus Uprising, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I
Brawl.
wanted
Brawl, Smash Bros. Ultimate had Pit.
Oh, yeah, and Dark Pit. But also Smash Ultimate was, here's all of the characters we've ever featured, plus all of the stages we've ever featured. So
Right.
that feels like we're including it because it was part of the game at one point.
Right.
Kid Icarus Uprising, as I found out while I was putting together our behind-the-scenes tier list, Colin took the time to properly format it so that it looks nice for when the video of this comes out. Apparently, Kid Icarus Uprising only actually came into being because Sakurai decided to include Pit in Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Yep.
This was an otherwise kind of dead franchise.
Yeah, nobody knew who Pit was when Brawl came out.
Yep. I mean, I kind of knew, because I just kind of into NES games. But Kid Icarus is one of the most difficult platforming games on the NES.
Oh,
a lot of people don't like it because of its incredible difficulty, which, fair. It is a Nintendo hard game, and a lot of people don't like Nintendo hard. There was also kind of what seems to be a little known Game Boy sequel to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It might have been better than the NES game. I'm not sure. I haven't actually played it. But it felt like a franchise that didn't need to be thrust back into the limelight through Super Smash Brothers.
I mean, from what I've heard, Uprising has actually been pretty well received, and it's not a stupid Nintendo hard platformer.
No.
The problem with Uprising is that it's trapped on the 3DS and is very expensive now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one that uses the stylus. It uses it well, but it uses the stylus, so not much can be done to port it.
Yeah. Kind of a double edge of the Switch is that, like, yeah, it has touchscreen capabilities, but you can only use them in handheld form.
Yeah, it's so weird that they even bothered to put touch
I often
touchscreen on that thing. Yeah, it's like, I guess it's neat if you're in handheld mode and you're typing in passwords or whatever when you're going into the eShop or whatever. But it's so weird that, like, with the system being designed to, at least for some percentage of the time, be docked and displayed on your television, it's so weird that they even bothered to put a touchscreen in it.
Yeah, like, while I've been editing together footage for our next That One game, I've been watching the full uncut video of Cosmic's, what is it called? The Mainline Mario Marathon plays through all 18 of the mainline Mario games in under 24 hours. And at the part where playing through Super Mario 3D World, he mentions that it'd be great if it was able to be ported to the Switch, and got me thinking, it's like, oh, well, why couldn't it be on the Switch? The Switch has touchscreen capabilities. And then I remembered that that's not just a handheld console, and you can't do that on like when it's docked. And there's like minigame levels with Captain Toad where you have to use the stylus for that, and it just doesn't work.
I have heard that 3DS Kid Icarus Uprising is carpal tunnel causing.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I already have
Just
enough of that going
just
on
because
with
the form factor of the 3DS is so small.
Yeah.
Get a
Yeah.
3DS XL.
Yeah.
It's not big enough.
Not big enough. Anyway, we're dropping Kid Icarus at D, and we are moving along to another franchise that has ties to Sakurai, but more so in the form of him having been the creator of said franchise, not just bringing it back because he included it in another franchise he created. We're talking about Kirby!
Yay!
Everybody's favorite little pink blurb that sucks.
Yes, if you want to put it that way.
Lucas,
Kirby sucks. I beg to differ.
Lucas, you put Kirby at S. Neal, you put Kirby at S. I put Kirby at A. I think I'm outnumbered here.
Yeah.
Again, this falls into me like being a little bit more strict with what I put into S tier. So Kirby was just like Earthbound, one that just kind of just slightly fell out of it for me.
Yeah. If I was to be
I've
more
never
strict,
not enjoyed a Kirby game.
Yeah, it's hard to not enjoy a Kirby game.
Kirby is a very important franchise to me.
Kirby is a very important franchise. That's why we keep getting them. And then people complain, and it's just like, why?
Kirby is one of Nintendo's best franchises.
It is.
Well, yeah, like just on the Super Nintendo alone, you got great hits like Kirby's Dream Land 3 and Kirby Superstar. And if you like puzzle games, Kirby's Avalanche, which is like a Kirby reskin of Puyo Puyo, which is an amazing puzzle game. It was my introduction to the Puyo Puyo series before I knew it was Puyo Puyo. I then discovered, Puyo is a separate thing from Kirby's Avalanche after playing a demo version of Puyo Pop Fever on the Game Boy Advance through a Game Boy Link download demo in Phantasy Star Online. That's
one thing that I like about Kirby, and a lot of people complain about it, but it's just how easy all the games are. Because it makes it's really easy for anybody of any skill level to pick up a Kirby game and learn how to play it. And that's kind of what they go for with these games. They're not meant to be super challenging games. There are like aspects of them that can get challenging, like the late game in Kirby and the Forgotten Land gets significantly more difficult as you go.
Yeah.
But like they're designed to be that kind of onboarding type of video game, even more so than a Mario game is.
Yeah. And there's still ways that you can like have significant challenge in a Kirby game, like collecting all of the heart stars for the true ending in Kirby's Dream Land 3, or 100%ing Kirby's Return to Dreamland, or even 100%ing Kirby Superstar or Superstar Ultra. Although Kirby Superstar isn't that much of a challenge for me to 100%, because, well, me and my sister have played that game literally to death. Like
killed the cartridge.
Basically. That cartridge like barely holds its save RAM with its battery anymore. But it doesn't matter anyway, because that's just what we did. We just played that game 100% one sitting. Sister got very good with the helper character Tack, which is the copy ability helper. Cat that is a thief, carries a big watermelon on its back and punches things and can copy abilities. So basically it's player 2 being able to copy things before the modern multiplayer Kirby's where each person got a Kirby to choose from. Naturally her and I both got very good with every ability of Kirby because I was playing as Kirby and she was playing as the non-Kirby character that can copy everything like Kirby could. Since our game cartridge barely hold a save file to save its life, we just got in the habit of 100%ing it every time we played.
Nice, as one does.
Yep. Her and I also have 100%ed Kirby's Dream Land 3 at least 2 or 3 times together. And then I think Return to Dreamland came out after she had already moved away from home several states over. But that was another Kirby game that actually I think me and Becca got to 100% together. So that was fun. It was also just a very fun Kirby game. So it's that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking to the ease of picking up this game and being able to play it and stuff. Like when I bought Kirby in the Forgotten Land last year, I had my girlfriend pick up a controller and play co-op with me in that game, and she does not play games at all. She'll play Mario Kart with me sometimes, and she played a little bit of the Mario games on the Game Boy growing up, but that's it as far as her gaming experience goes. And she was able to pick it up and kind of work her way through it, even in the 3D environment, and play Forgotten Land with me, and she had a good time with it. So, I mean, anything or anyone can pick up these games and play them, and I think that's a huge, huge plus for the franchise.
Yeah,
And
honestly, I think Kirby is more approachable than even Mario.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that is why Kirby is going to be our first S tier of the day.
Dang.
Boing.
Kirby.
We did it. Skirby.
Yeah, an ST. We might not have many S tiers. No, actually, looking at this, we probably will.
Yeah, I think I can predict our next S tier.
Yeah.
It might come sooner than you know.
Right, because Mario doesn't start with M.
We are moving along to our next franchise in alphabetical order. Super Mario.
Oh, wait, we are doing Super Mario?
We are.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Yes, MA does in fact start, or is alphabetically first in that case.
Yeah, Mario.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just got a movie that is still breaking records.
Yep.
Constantly crossing over
Mario had a movie before that. What do you mean?
He did.
I didn't say he didn't have a movie before. I just said he just got a movie now.
He got a movie that's breaking records.
Yeah. He just got a good movie. Anyway, Lucas, you have it at A. Neal has it at A. I put Mario. That was one of my S tiers. It's Mario.
Wow, interesting.
He's the face of Nintendo. It's Mario.
Fair, but Super Mario covers a ton of different genres altogether.
Yeah.
This franchise is what made it very difficult for us behind the scenes to decide on what franchises were going to be.
How we were going to divide the franchises.
Yep.
Which we probably should have mentioned this, but we decided basically Smash Bros. Is the rule.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, there's the Super Mario Brothers series, but then there's stuff like Mario Kart,
Mario Party,
Super Mario Land.
That's part of Super Mario, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Mario Paint,
all of the Mario Sports.
Yep, we all got to that.
Yeah.
All the Mario Sports.
Mario DDR.
Yep. I have played through that game. It is entertaining.
Is it? Does that mean
Yep.
it's good?
Good for a DDR game, I suppose. Do you have a funny memory of that? 'Cause, my friend Ryan had it and brought it over to my house one night for sleepover, and him being about, I think, good 3 inches taller than me, jumped to do a simultaneous left-right button press on the dance pad and actually hit his head on the like plastic lens cover for the overhead fluorescent tubes in the basement.
Oh,
And if you've ever happened to like brush up against the light covers for one of those, they're very sharp.
yeah.
Actually think I have a scar on one of my knuckles from reaching up and brushing up against the light cover once, and it cut my knuckle open.
Ouch.
Yeah. So imagine doing that with your head.
Uh-huh.
But no, I think the diversity of Mario's portfolio is a benefit to him, not a detractor. Especially
Maybe-
since a lot of them are high quality still.
Yeah.
Especially like the sports titles. Like the Switch releases notwithstanding, because the Switch ones have been I don't know what they're doing with the Switch sports games. But like Mario Strikers on the GameCube, fantastic. Mario Golf, fantastic.
Mario
Tennis,
3-on-3 basketball for the
like-
DS.
Yeah, like they're good games. He's
I don't
got
think
more hits than misses.
And maybe if you like RPGs, actually.
Oh yeah, and then there's Mario RPG
Yeah.
and Mario and Luigi
Saga.
and Paper
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
Paper Mario has 2.5 good games.
Yep. Yeah.
Super Paper Mario is somewhere in the middle, I guess, is my opinion. But
For being
there's
paper,
a lot of Paper
it sure
Mario.
is, yeah, for being paper, it sure is kind of an anchor on the series.
Yeah, there's Sticker Star, the newest one, Origami King, and Splash, whatever it is, and all 3 of those are not great.
Yeah.
So that's half the franchise of Paper Mario is not great now.
Basically.
And they don't seem to be stopping with their direction with Paper Mario.
Yeah.
And
Which is
also
unfortunate. Like if they carried on in the style of Paper Mario 64 and Thousand Year Door, I'd probably think highly of
Yeah.
like Super Paper Mario onwards is kind of not great.
Yeah.
But just going back to traditional Mario games, you've got Mario Odyssey, Mario
game.
Galaxy 1 and 2. Depending
Both
on
good.
who you ask, Mario Sunshine. I think it's an okay game.
Me too.
Mm,
Mario 64 revolutionized gaming. It may be a little bit aged now looking back at it, but it was
Yeah.
One of the best
huge.
3D platformers of its generation.
Yeah. What Mario 64 alone did for gaming as a whole is huge. Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. If you want it, like, I think Super Mario Bros. 2 is a great game, even though
Yeah.
it's not actually a Mario game.
Yeah. Wait, which Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yeah. Probably the one that isn't a Mario game because Lost Levels is.
Yeah. Of course, also, I've seen enough Super Mario Brothers ROM hacks to where maybe Super Mario Brothers 2J could be a bad Super Mario World
Yeah.
Brothers ROM hack.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
a good
honest-
one, even.
I feel like the Game Boy Advance version of the Game Boy Advance version of Mario 2 made that game actually good. Doki Doki Panic on the NES isn't nearly as good of a Mario game.
The Super
Yeah.
Mario All-Stars port is good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot more forgiving, too, because 2U on the NES had a limited number of continues.
Right.
As
Okay.
as opposed to the much more forgiving and honestly makes the game, in my opinion, a bit better to play through. Unlimited continues of the All-Stars version.
Okay, but going back to other mainline Mario games, what about the new Super Mario Bros. Line? Like, some of those are really good, but they got really stale really fast.
Yep. Like, New Super Mario Brothers on the DS was good.
Did they
Yes.
get stale
New
because they were bad games, though, or did they just get stale because of oversaturation?
Both.
I would say probably mostly oversaturation, because, like...
Because
The
they
gameplay
really
is-
rode the success of that first one hard.
Yeah.
But they did just kind of clone it, and Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS didn't really do anything impressive.
It added the golden flower so that you can do the coin rush thing. And that's about as innovative as it got.
Its innovation was coins.
Yep.
And I will say, I don't think a lot of the Mario Party series is all that great. Like, there were some hits on every console, but it progressively got worse too.
Yeah, there were some big changes with the recent ones that have kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Switch ones aren't great. They're better than some of the ones on the Wii U, but...
Yeah.
Well, the one on the Wii U is actually really fun.
It is, but then...
Because they utilized the gamepad.
Yeah.
And that's what made it fun.
Yeah, we did play a fair bit of
Yeah.
Mario Party 9 back in the day.
Yeah,
But
I like that one.
Yeah, the Bowser mode in that one was a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like not necessarily one of those rare games that utilize the Wii U pad, but it's like any multiplayer game that uses the Wii U gamepad in a fun way. I really enjoyed those.
Yeah. It almost kind of like put the Bowser player in like a Dungeons and Dragons-esque dungeon master sort of setting where like they could plot and scheme on the big Wii U gamepad while everyone else was like trying to figure out what Bowser was doing.
Okay, you guys are talking about Mario Kart Party 10, right? Wii U is what you're talking about. Yeah.
The one on the Wii U with the one on the Wii U with Bowser, whatever one that is.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of Mario Party 9 and 8.
I liked 8. That was the last one on the Wii.
Nope, 9 was on the Wii.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. 10 was definitely an improvement over 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was that sort of, like, everyone's in a car on a road trip kind of gameplay that Mario Party 9 had, but better.
The addition of Bowser is what made it more fun.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the Mario Party 9 did not have the benefit of the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah. Mario Party 8 is, I think, probably my favorite. I played a couple of the ones on the GameCube, and they were all right for like a weekend rental, but yeah.
There was no way I was buying a Mario Party game for the GameCube when I had a GameCube.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are fine, some of them are pretty good, but it's not like worth shelling out the money for a Mario game.
Yeah.
Even back then when they weren't nearly as expensive.
Yeah. I will say, though, regardless of what generation Mario Party game you've played, whether it's N64, GameCube, Wii U, Switch, they will ruin friendships. That's how the game is designed to be played.
Yeah.
If you want someone out of your life, just play Mario Party with them.
Is that a good thing about the game?
Maybe.
Depending on how bad you want that person out of your life.
Like, Mario Party and Mario Kart are easily two of the most heatedly competitive Mario games.
Yeah. I don't know. New Super Mario Bros., once they added multiplayer, was similar.
Yeah. Mario Kart is dangerous. It will make you regret teaching your wife how to do the drifting mechanics in those games, and she's been terrorizing me in Mario Kart ever since. What have I done to myself? I love you, Becca.
So how are we placing this? Because we've talked about Mario for a really long time, and last month was Mario month.
Well, this month is Mario month now, too.
I'm still not convinced it's not S tier, but
Super Mario month 2.
Since I am one that is put it at A tier, at the very top of A tier.
All right, I can be satisfied.
That'll be my concession. So Mario's going at A tier.
Can we get a Can we get a snapshot of what the list is like right now, halfway through?
So far, our list is at S tier, we have Kirby. At A tier, we have Mario, Earthbound/Mother, and Donkey Kong. At B tier, F-Zero and Fire Emblem. C tier, Animal Crossing. And D tier is Game & Watch and Kid Icarus.
Okay.
I hope
Moving
Game & Watch is
along.
above Kid Icarus, because Kid Icarus
Yes.
trash.
Moving along to our next franchise is Metroid. This one I think we are all more agreed on. Lucas, unsurprisingly, S tier. Neal,
Yep.
S tier. Colin, S tier. Metroid is S tier.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on.
Already? I haven't talked about how much I frickin' love these games yet.
Yeah, do you want to tell us about
Ye-
Metroid Prime Remastered?
You've
Absolutely.
been telling us about it and what we've been playing for the past 6 episodes.
Yeah. It's a good game, and that's only one of them. Like, the series isn't without its faults. Like, I wouldn't call Metroid 2 Return of Samus a good game, but
Yeah.
that game has an amazing soundtrack, actually.
Yeah. I mean, Metroid 2,
Just
Prime
the
Echoes,
just the
Other
SR388 overworld theme is fantastic.
we also had to lump Metroid Prime Hunters in here.
It was a good game for a
Federation
DS
Force.
game.
Federation
The
Force.
Federation
Same
Force,
thing.
that's
It
the
needs to
one.
be
Yeah,
lumped in.
Federation Force. I
That
mean,
exists.
we dragged Mario through the ringer.
Yeah,
I know we're all unanimous on Metroid at S tier, but I mean, we dragged Mario's duds through the ringer. I mean, Metroid
Yeah.
definitely had some too.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Metroid games that are good, and there's like
They're
at least
very
6,
good.
They're super good.
Yep. Like, even for as bad as the story and Other M is, the gameplay is fantastic.
And I wouldn't say is Federation Force a bad game? I've never actually played that. I just know it's a really bad.
I have only ever heard it's bad.
Yeah. Most of what I know about it is that it is a squad of Galactic Federation soldiers going on various missions. Samus kind of makes a cameo appearance, and then there's Blast Ball multiplayer.
Huh.
It does, however, contain plot points relevant to the upcoming Metroid Prime 4.
Interesting.
Oh no, they made it required playing, and now you can't buy it anywhere because of the 3DS.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metroid S tier.
Yeah. Pretty
As if there was any doubt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of like Kirby Superstar with Kirby for me, like Super Metroid. Like, even if the rest of the games in this franchise were bad, that game alone probably carries it. Which I know is very counterintuitive to what I said about Earthbound, with only 2/3 of the franchise being good, and putting it in A tier as a result. Super Metroid and Metroid Prime just kind of... They're games that I will perpetually revisit forever.
They're very good games.
Yep. I mean,
So let's move along to something that's not a very good game.
oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Depending on who you ask. Our next franchise is Pikmin.
Trash.
Lucas, you have it at D.
I sure do.
Neal has it at C, but Neal's C is also his lowest ranking that he did. I have it at also D. I think Pikmin is D rank.
Similar.
Between Game & Watch and Kid Icarus.
I put it above Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
I've never played it. I've seen Let's Plays. It's interesting enough with Let's Plays. But like, I probably wouldn't have picked up a Let's Play of Pikmin if it wasn't by my favorite Let's Player back when I was in high school.
Fair.
But also, it doesn't feel very approachable.
Yeah, I tried playing the original on the GameCube back in the day, and it just wasn't for me. I am glad Miyamoto likes it so much and that he keeps making them for the people that do like them. It's just the new one does look like it has some interesting mechanics to it at least, but not enough to make me go, I'm gonna buy a Pikmin game.
Yeah.
Like, at least the second game in the series onwards kind of did away with you have 28 days to get off of this planet or you will die.
Yeah.
And actually, made the real-time strategy elements of the Pikmin games, a little more enjoyable. But just trying to get through Pikmin 1 was too much for me. And it could also kind of be like another Fire Emblem situation where just real-time strategy does not jive with me. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Pikmin. Neat concept.
Yeah.
Can't get into it.
Yeah.
Also neat is that it kind of originated from a tech demo for the GameCube that was shown at Space World called Super Mario 128.
Oh yeah.
Which featured 128 Marios moving across a dev environment simultaneously to show off like the GameCube's computational power.
The power of the GameCube.
Which
In the
some
beginning,
games
there was the GameCube.
Yeah. And nowadays that probably sounds underwhelming, but at the same time, it's still pretty impressive for the GameCube. And like Pikmin kind of capitalized on the demonstration by like including Olimar up to 100 Pikmin of initially 3 different varieties, 4 if you count when they get infected by mushroom spores and turn on you. Plus enemies in the environment and objects to interact with in the environment in Pikmin 1, one of the earliest games on the GameCube. And technically it is a very impressive game that I cannot get into because the gameplay doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. Let's move along to a better franchise that starts with the letter P. Pokemon! We finally made it to that franchise.
Yep.
Lucas, you have it at B.
Yep.
Neal, you have it at B. I have it at A. I think of the 3 of us, I'm leaning more heavily on nostalgia for the series than you 2 were.
Yep.
Okay.
It was in C for me before I started doing the appeal thing.
Yeah. I think I might have had this at the bottom of the A tier initially, but then bumped it down to B. Because we actually got talking a little bit about it last night at Magic. Me, Neal, and our friend Hunter. And our friend Griffin. Yeah. The games themselves in the series can be very hit or miss.
Sure can.
Due to various quality of game from Game Freak. Because there's some cases where the game's just flat out broken. Like Red, Blue, and Yellow, or Scarlet, Violet, or some oddities with Pokemon abilities in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, or weird shiny odds things in XD Gale of Darkness and Colosseum. It's like sometimes you can catch a dark Pokemon that's shiny, but then when you purify it, because it changes the personality values, it no longer is shiny after purifying it.
Oof.
In some cases, also just kind of difficulty, but for most of my playthroughs of Pokemon games recently have been mono bug type runs, which unnecessarily adds to the difficulty. Pokemon Platinum was an absolute awful experience for me, even though it is a decent game otherwise, just because Sinnoh does not have very many good bug Pokemon.
Yeah. Kind of hard to do bugs with no bugs.
Yeah. Also, the honey tree mechanic in that game was
yeah, it was
awful.
terrible. It was so bad.
And in order to have a full team, guess who had to grind out that like 1% Heracross encounter chance?
That sucks.
Yep. 85 hours in game time. We were just looking at my screenshots in the other Discord for this.
Gross.
Yep. Yeah, Pokemon's one of those, I think, that like when the games are really good, they're really, really good. And then when they're bad, they're really, really bad, and not a whole lot in between.
I still really love Red and Blue in spite of their very, very shoddy construction.
Yeah.
I still have a soft spot for those janky games because they're just so much fun.
Yeah.
But they're so old.
Yep.
But they're still fun.
So old, so broken. So much that
I still hate Yellow version because they fixed the missing no glitch.
Yeah, but they didn't fix the fact that you could interrupt your save with a reset and turn your item menu into a hex editor. And if you've seen Mr. Wint's arbitrary code execution run, he actually reprograms a segment of Pokemon Gold over top of the save RAM of Pokemon Yellow.
Oh.
Among other things.
Sketchy.
Yeah. Like, I forget the name of the cities, but like, reprograms a bit of Pokemon Gold, has a wild encounter where they encounter a shiny Celebi that they send out a shiny Mew to face. They catch it. Then they go to the department store and they talk to an NPC who's playing on Game Boy, and they show off their Tetris skills by showing off Tetris for the Game Boy that they were also able to program into the game, complete with music, and they like play through line clear mode, which I believe is type B. You can get like the space shuttle launch ending for it.
Nice.
This sounds like I'm making it up as I go along. This is actually how the run plays through. They leave the department store and it turns into Link's Awakening DX.
Nice.
And then
that's funny.
Like, there's another screen transition. They go into a house and it goes into the Hall of Fame from Red, Blue, Yellow. Talks to Professor Oak, and they start like playing a digitized for the Game Boy version of Still Alive from Portal.
Oh my god.
And then it ends with a version of, or like a arbitrary code execution optimized clip from what appears to be a Video Now or Game Boy Advance video, whichever it is, clip from an episode of SpongeBob with the like SpongeBob being spooky and like Patrick hyping him up with the "How does he do it?" That run is wild.
Yeah, you're gonna have to share that in the Discord. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I'll compromise Pokemon and put it on B tier though, because there are some fair points made. Like when it's good, it's good, but then there is also everything post Gen 5 hasn't really hit the same for me personally. Also,
yeah, Gen 6 was kind of a weak generation, and then
Gen 7 had the freaking tutorial from hell.
Yep. A tutorial so bad that I dropped that game for like a good couple of months before even getting my starter.
Yeah, it's bad. And it's supposedly improved in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I did not find that to be the case because I almost dropped Ultra Sun before I finished the tutorial section in that game because it was just so frustratingly long. And not like it's not a particularly good tutorial either. Like, I don't mind a tutorial taking its time, but like if it's not fun in the meantime, it sucks.
Yeah, the tutorial in this
Gen
case
7
is
tutorial is not yeah, Gen 7 tutorial is awful.
Yeah.
And then like Gen 8, I actually really, really like Gen 8.
Yeah.
Like,
and after you were bugging me for so long to play through Sword, I did.
Yeah.
In a mono
it's got good bugs. Got good bugs.
Got very good bugs.
Yeah. But like of like modern Pokemon, I think Gen 8 is still probably my favorite. Not my favorite, but I've played through it more than any modern Pokemon. Like post Gen 5, once they got into 3D.
It's got so many good bugs. It's got Orbeetle, it's got Araquanid, it's got Galvantula, it's got Butterfree, which sounds kind of vanilla and Gen 1er-ish, but Compound Eyes Butterfree will carry you through the whole game.
And then like Scarlet and Violet, they are at their core, they are good games, just crushed by their technical difficulties.
Yes. They got good bugs in there too.
Yeah, they got really good bugs. Or the shiny low kicks.
Yeah, it looks like Kamen Rider.
Yeah, it does. I think I named him Common too.
Yeah. Like I even went in I enjoyed Scarlet and Violet so much that I've basically made EV train versions of every bug in the game.
I put over 40 hours into Scarlet and then I just dropped it because like for me I was like at the point where I was just running around the map with no real clear objective, just looking for shinies and just wasn't finding anything. And I had one too many play sessions where I just didn't accomplish anything because of that. Where it's just like, all right, I'm done. I never bothered to do the tournament after the Elite Four in the game.
Yeah.
It's like after you finish Area 0, and then you can get together, you go around and you battle all the gym leaders again, and then you have a big tournament type thing. And I never bothered with all the gym leader rematches just because I was so burnt out from shiny hunting and just having zero luck with it. I got the one Lokix. It is freaking cool, but like with the amount of hours I put into that game, like I expected to see a little bit more. And I was trying to do sandwich boosting and stuff too. It's just never had any luck, so I was like, screw it.
I almost completely curb stomped all of the gym leaders with Bullet Punch Caesar.
Nice.
Bunch of chumps. They should all be fired. Except for
Larry.
Larry deserves a raise.
Larry's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He pulled his weight and then some.
Guy's such a mood.
Anyway. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We discussed some we talked some Pokemon. It's at B tier. We can move on.
Yeah.
To the next franchise, which is Punch Out. Lucas, you've got a C tier.
Yep.
Neal, you got a B tier. I also put it at C tier.
Yeah. That seems about
C seems right.
Yeah. I mean it's not a bad franchise. They just don't do anything with it anymore. I think they had one on the Wii, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like
the
Switch has all these gyro functions and stuff.
Yeah.
But what on the Switch?
Yeah.
Give us a new
what
Punch
about
Out.
ARMS? We didn't include ARMS on this list. It's not really a franchise, yes. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I think I brought that up because ARMS is kind of...
Yeah, I can see it.
Their new attempt at a fighting game.
Yeah, I never actually got a chance to play any of these.
Punch Out does seem very approachable, which is why it ended up in B.
This just in, and we forgot a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
we realized it before it arrived alphabetically, though. We have time.
So we'll get there. Well, we will live rank it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like saying ARMS wasn't really a franchise reminded me, oh yeah, that's right. There's a franchise that started at the Wii U that we forgot about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do any of us play Splatoon? We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Spoilers, the one we forgot to put in was Splatoon. We'll get to it.
Oh.
I have played it.
I spoiled it.
Good job. Yeah. But yeah, Punch
It's
Out
fine.
is let's get on so that way we can get to the one we missed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put Punch Out at C. It's
Yeah.
good, but I mean Nintendo doesn't really do anything with it anymore.
Yeah. And honestly, like watching the speed runs of Punch Out on the NES or like SNES, it's like incredible. Like this is a super technical game under the hood, but like it's one of those games that I find it's more fun to watch than it is to actually play myself.
Our next franchise is Super Smash Bros. One of the legendary Nintendo franchises that brings together all of the Nintendo franchises in a very convenient way that kind of helped us formulate a list for this episode. We didn't like strictly do like X game is in Smash Bros. It made our list sort of thing. Like there's still some obscure ones that didn't quite make the list.
Yeah.
Plus the one we forgot.
Yep.
That we will remedy soon. But yeah.
And like even obscure Nintendo franchises still make an appearance in Super Smash Brothers, whether it be as like the collectible trophies or as assist trophies as an in-game item. Like, sorry, Golden Sun, but yeah, you're only an assist trophy. You're not like a main playable character.
Yeah.
Bayonetta, not a Nintendo franchise. Sorry.
Yeah. Which is see that's what's weird about Bayonetta specifically is like it's technically still a Sega franchise, but Nintendo has all the publishing rights for it.
Yep.
And Bayonetta 2 would not have happened if Nintendo didn't show up with a bag saying, "Hey, we'll pay for this."
Yep.
And now we got Bayonetta 3 also.
Yep.
But it's still technically not a Nintendo franchise.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't own the IP, they just publish it.
Yeah. I suppose while we're on the subject of digging through Super Smash Brother characters that have franchises that are like iconic Nintendo staples, Castlevania and Mega Man we gotta toss aside.
Oh, yep, like, because
Konami and Capcom, not Nintendo. Same thing with Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Dude, they're remaking Snake Eater!
Yeah!
And Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 are getting modern console ports!
Sneeder!
Let's go! Metal Gear.
I might actually be able to play something in that franchise now.
Yes!
Yeah.
They're so good.
Although I technically probably could have on the PS2.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah. This is also where I decided
but they're not Nintendo franchises.
No, they're not.
Not Nintendo.
Although it was the first non-Nintendo franchise to show up in Smash Bros.
Yes.
Well, Sonic was
tied
also
with Sonic,
Brawl.
yeah. But...
No, yeah. Snake was introduced in the preceding marketing to Brawl before Sonic came out.
You're right.
Yep.
I guess technically, if you want to refer to the marketing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, marketing was kind of huge about that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that was the one where they were really breaking out of the Nintendo shell, like starting with Snake.
Yep.
Snake!
Yeah. It was also with Super Smash Brothers that I decided that Ice Climbers, not a franchise.
Yeah.
There was Ice Climbers on the NES, and then I believe there was Versus Ice Climbers on the arcade, which was on the Nintendo Versus Arcade system, which was based off of NES hardware. So it's just a slightly remixed Ice Climbers for the NES. Like, not even a true sequel, it's just the same thing. Which is a shame, because Ice Climbers is actually more fun than Kid Icarus, so...
Anyway, enough preamble. Lucas, you put Smash Bros. At S tier. Neal, you put Smash Bros. At S tier. I put it at A tier. Just another one that fell out. Just another one that fell out.
It would have been on A tier for me if I had not gone with the appeal. factor in mind.
It is definitely a extremely, extremely popular franchise.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
A lot of my appeal ranking for this comes out of just playing it with you guys, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played a ton of Smash Bros, but I don't know if I'd ever pick that game up for myself.
Yeah. I will say the adventure mode type modes have all gone downhill since Subspace Emissary.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I was really hoping World of Light would be cool because they started it like it was going to be Subspace Emissary.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
And then it wasn't. I still love that Sonic is eaten by the light beam or whatever it's supposed to be. Because he slows down to save Pikachu.
Why
He could have
would you
outran
say
it.
why?
But
why would you do that? Sonic.
Pikachu is an innocent animal. Sonic helps innocent animals.
Not even that good of a Pokemon. Come on. Pikachu's the reason why Pokemon's in B tier.
Jeez, okay.
Yellow version is that bad. Don't at me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like yellow version.
Yeah. Easily the least good in the Pokemon ever.
Okay.
Least
That
good
was
in the
sentence.
Pokemon ever. Right.
Yep.
So let's actually talk about Smash Bros. As a game, maybe?
Pokemon Black and White had a Pokemon named Trubbish, and it's a literal trash pile.
It's literal trash.
It's a better Pokemon than Pikachu.
Wow. Hatred.
Yep. You know what else is a literal pile of trash? My opinion sometimes, so.
Wah, wah.
What are your opinions about Smash Bros?
I enjoy it as a game
Smash
to play
or
with
pass?
my friends.
Smash Bros.
Right. It's a Patreon exclusive episode. If
we
ever
through every character in Smash Ultimate, Smash or pass.
Yep.
Oh god,
that would be
take
a long
forever.
episode too.
That would take forever. Holy crap! We'd have
Smash Ultimate or pass.
we would have to live stream it and then just start at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Everybody take a day off that day.
Yeah.
Right. Ganondorf, smash. Everyone else, pass.
But yeah, we're gonna drop Smash Bros in S tier.
That seems fair. Like,
it's just a great celebrate. It started as a celebration of Nintendo, and it turned into just a celebration of games. And all wrapped really up in an incredibly addictive, well, for the most part, balanced game. I mean, when you throw freaking like a roster as big as Ultimate's roster in there, I mean, what they've achieved as far as balance goes is really impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
there's still some that slip through the cracks and they're like super like busted compared to the rest, but I mean,
like Dragon Warrior Hero can be broken if you get the right spell list, but you know, that's a roulette really to whether or not you're going to get those like one-hit KO spells.
Oops.
And you'll burn all your MP in the process too, so
it's also a like impressive balance of making all these various different franchises come together and exist in the same space.
Yeah.
And not be totally jarring.
Yeah.
I think the worst they've ever done is Steve, because Steve just doesn't quite fit.
Steve!
Yeah. Sorry, Minecraft, Steve.
Yeah, as much as I love Minecraft, I don't like how Steve looks in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
But I love that they added Cloud and Sephiroth to the game.
Yes. Yep.
And Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are in it. I didn't even know they added them until they announced the amiibos, and I was like, wait, what? What?
Yeah,
so I gotta go. I gotta actually pick up Smash Ultimate again and
Ryu and Ken from
download
Street
them.
Fighter.
Yeah.
Even the Mii fighters have some really cool deep cuts for costume outfits.
Yeah.
Like
Gino.
yeah. Yep. Also, Akira from Virtua Fighter, the much beloved Sega fighting game franchise. At least in my opinion. It's my favorite 32X game that I own. I own one 32X game, and it's Virtua Fighter, but... No, Virtua Fighter is actually one of my favorite 3D fighting games, so that's fine.
My experience with Virtua Fighter comes through playing Virtua Fighter 5 in the Judgment series in the arcades.
Mine comes from playing Virtua Fighter in a Chuck E. Cheese of all places.
Also, I think it's Virtua Fighter 2 is in Yakuza Kiwami?
Nice.
So, something like that. It takes place in like 2005, so...
Yeah. Virtua Fighter is neat, and I love that actually the 32X version is better than the Sega Saturn version, because the Sega Saturn version has really bad frame rate issues.
Oof.
Which is impressive for being the same CPU combo setup that the 32X has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, Mega Man X and Zero costumes for Mii fighters. I mean, they should have just made Zero a character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Need more Mega Man characters in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, they totally could have made Zero a character.
Yeah.
They could have made X a character.
Yeah. I think Roll would have been a fun character, probably.
Make Rush a playable character.
Yeah. Another critique is they probably could have had more Earthbound Mother series representation.
Why? They already have the only one you need.
That is true. They do have my namesake in there.
Yeah.
And Lucas was my main in Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I don't know. I feel like could have been other characters from any of the games that could have...
like Fuzzy Pickles guy as an assist trophy.
Actually, yeah, that would have been a good assist trophy. Like, not even necessarily like Echo Fighters like Lucas and Ness are of each other, but like, I feel like, have Kumatora or like, Pooh maybe. Or like one of the more non-Psy melee-focused characters, like maybe promote Jeff from assist trophy status, have him be his own cool thing, fire ray guns and fireworks at people.
And of course, we gotta also mention Waluigi never getting in.
Waluigi. Yeah.
Why are you doing this to my boy?
Waluigi's great.
Yeah.
Should have been in there.
Yeah. I think Duster from Mother 3 probably would have been a good character too, with all of
that
his
would be cool.
tools.
Yeah. Staple people.
Yeah.
That probably doesn't make sense out of context.
He's got a projectile.
He does.
He's the actual wielder of Rope Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably like we have a Jigglypuff-esque stun with the Hypno Stick. Yeah.
Anyway, should we move on?
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, next up is the game that we said we forgot. So we're going to be live ranking this one.
Yep.
On air right now.
Yep.
Because for whatever reason, the scrub that put this list together, Lucas, he forgot to include Splatoon.
I sure did.
How are we going to be a kid that's also a squid? If you forget Splatoon.
Know.
Have either of you played Splatoon?
No.
Yeah,
I have not.
I have. It's pretty good. Honestly,
the impact that Splatoon 1 had on like team-based gameplay was absolutely phenomenal.
Well, Well, I don't usually go for multiplayer games anymore, especially when I'm not playing with friends, just because there's too many people out there with way less of a life than I have that are way better than I am at these things, and it's just not fun to play when you're getting curb stomped all the time. But what I like about what Splatoon does is, yeah, you can kill the other players, and it makes your score go up a little bit, but the point of the game isn't necessarily like a high kill death ratio. The It's more about how much of the terrain that you cover with your color of ink. Like, how big of a mess you make, basically, is how you win in a match of Splatoon, and I really enjoyed that, actually, when I finally actually tried the game out. It feels like it's a lot easier to pick up and play and get into it and not worry about if you have, like, super crazy accuracy or anything with, like, shooting other characters and stuff. You just go in and you can just be the guy that paints the ground while the other
Yeah.
guys, like, play defense and stuff, so
Like, interestingly, from what I heard about the multiplayer in Splatoon 1, there was apparently a discrepancy in like skill level between the international audience and the Japanese audience, because they took the paint the ground thing a little too literally.
Huh.
Like, rather than, deploy defensive tactics like you see in someone on the enemy team, you splat them and then paint over what they were painting. They just focused on painting.
yeah.
But like, so I don't play a ton of like multiplayer focused games either, but I had a bit of a revolution one night playing Team Fortress 2 at our friend Max's house. You might know him from the TOG side quest Fire Emblem episode. But that was when I discovered I'm actually really good at Team Fortress 2 as Pyro and doing cool flamethrower 360s and stuff. And we're playing, I think it was payload mode. And I was getting disheartened because I would like spawn in, die in like a minute, and be like, wow, I'm terrible at this game. My like ability to kill other players is terrible.
No,
And
that's
then
just TF2.
And then Max says to me, what are you talking about? Press the tab key. You're number one on our team currently. It's like, oh, I'm really good at this.
I think I remember that.
And
TF2 is fun.
yeah, but that's kind of changed my perspective on team-based shooters forever. Like, you don't have to be solely focused on getting a good kill-death ratio. Like, you just play the objective, and if you do that, then you're golden.
Yeah.
So, like, Splatoon is probably a game I would actually really enjoy.
It's really, really fun, actually. It'd be really fun if we all played Splatoon.
Tempting.
I still gotta get Splatoon 3.
Yeah.
But I bought Splatoon 2 a couple weeks before 3 came out just to see if I would like it.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, well, it's multiplayer only. It's like, no, there is some single player content.
Yeah.
The single player content's not much to write home about, to be perfectly honest. Like, but between the way the core multiplayer gameplay works, where it's not dependent on you having the highest kill count, and it's more dependent on you just painting the ground beneath you and stuff. And also, Splatoon 2 added the Horde mode Salmon Run.
Yeah.
That is so much fun. Oh my god.
I've seen our friend JJ playing Salmon Run mode.
God, it's so fun.
It looks like a blast.
It's just absolutely frenetic, just chaos everywhere. Chaos! There's our chaos for the episode. But yeah, Splatoon is great. Personally, I would probably, because it's so unique in Nintendo's overall lineup, I feel like being it's like Nintendo's like big multiplayer shooter type game. Like, they don't really have anything else quite like it in their repertoire. I think it's A tier, honestly. It's just so solid for what it is. We haven't even talked about the music. and just
It's
the overall
great.
aesthetic of the game is so just stylistically fun.
It takes a lot to make me watch a live stream, but I remember like when Splatoon 1 was still the Splatoon game. Like Nintendo streamed a Squid Sisters concert, and I watched that from start to finish just because that music is just so
The music
good.
is so good. Yeah, so I think it's an A tier game. Honestly, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd put it at
Yeah.
A tier myself.
Yeah. All right, I'm putting Splatoon at A tier. The game we forgot and we live ranked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Splatoon is A tier. Moving on to a game that's probably not going to be A tier. Our next franchise is Star Fox. And Lucas gave Star Fox a C. Neal gave Star Fox an A. Neal really likes Star Fox. And I gave it a D.
That
Of course.
seems cruel.
We are very, very
Yeah.
split on our Star Fox ranking.
Yeah. I'm willing to concede lower for sure, because my main experience with Star Fox is a fan game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, I mentioned we were talking a little bit before the episode. Like, I like the concept of Star Fox, but just not the games. I think the one that you mentioned, Lucas, was a Star Fox Adventure on the GameCube or something like that. Or
Star Fox
Assault.
Assault.
Yeah, that one I'd probably like if I had the opportunity to play it. Just because it switches up the gameplay a little bit more. But like the original Star Fox, I tried playing it. It's just like, eh.
Yeah,
And then
it's
the remake that they did
3D
on the
rail
Wii
shooter.
U. Yeah, rail shooters are very hit and miss for me.
Yeah,
Honestly, like I would love a Star Fox game that was honestly probably what Star Fox Assault is, but like with more free movement in space, and then maybe some third person exploration stuff would be perfect.
yeah. I think Star Fox Assault probably like the perfect balance of it. I do have a copy of it. If you want it, borrow it sometime.
Do a barrel roll.
Yeah. I also have Star Fox Adventures, which is not a good game, in my opinion. That's more of like a action adventure type game. Like
That's the one that was like reskinned into a Star Fox game, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's originally going to be Dinosaur Planet and completely unrelated except for Crystal was going to be there. So yeah, they retconned her into being a Star Fox character afterwards.
Colin, the one you're talking about is the Wii U one, Star Fox Zero, correct?
Yeah.
That you played?
Yeah.
That's one of the lowest
not good.
rated. Yeah.
It's not good.
It's got a 69 on Metacritic.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, yes.
I like
Yes,
what it
but
was.
no.
I like what it was trying to do, but it just didn't stick the landing.
Right. So give like a more traditional Star Fox a shake, because I
mean,
think
I
part
played
of
the
why
first
people
one.
Okay.
I really like the first one, even though it's just a rail shooter.
Yeah. I mean, I tried the first one, and I think I probably tried Star Fox 2 also.
Yeah, because
because that was never
air quotes new release for the SNES Classic.
Yeah.
Star Fox 2 is the most recently released Star Fox game.
Yeah.
For
if you've been living under a rock without the knowledge that Star Fox 2 was like found in a complete state and uploaded to just about every ROM archive on the internet.
Yeah, when we were planning this episode, I found the Wikipedia page of lists of franchises has Star Fox 1 as the most, or as the original, and then Star Fox 2 is the most recent, which makes no sense.
I think I would be willing to bump it up to C rank.
Like I said, I don't feel too strongly about it.
Yeah, let's put it at C.
It's a solid C. Like,
yeah,
my preference for Star Fox is definitely Star Fox Assault, especially like with your introduction to if your introduction to Fox and or Falco and or Wolf was through like Super Smash Brothers, then like it's actually kind of cool to like be able to partake in the third person action shooter type elements of Star Fox Assault. And not just like, you know, R-Wings and Landmaster rail shooter type stuff.
Yeah.
And even some of the vehicle combat in Star Fox Assault isn't strictly like classic Star Fox rail shooter stuff. Sometimes you actually get to move freely in an environment.
I think if you give me like the ship control of like Star Wars Squadrons and then like the third person action adventure type gameplay as well, that would make for a pretty sweet Star Fox game.
Yeah. Highly recommend specifically Star Fox Assault. The rest of the series is kind of take it or leave it.
Maybe I'll burn one onto a mini DVD and try it on my GameCube.
You should do it. It's a good game.
I could do it. Or I could just put on my Steam Deck at that rate if I'm going to bother downloading a ROM of it.
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on after putting Star Fox at C tier to our next. Kind of going to have a double feature here because we have the same character, but two different franchises.
Completely different.
Because they are radically different games. But we got Wario Land is first up, which kicked off actually with Super Mario Land 3.
Yes.
Which was the first Wario Land game.
And Super Mario Land 2 was the first game with Wario.
It was. Yeah. Lucas, you put Wario Land at B. Neal, you put it at B. And correct. I also put it at B. I actually thought it was Mario Land because the images that we had for our tier list putting together initially were cropped. So it just said Riola.
Riola!
Shout outs to Colin for prettyifying our tier list.
Yes. In the final tier list, it will actually be legible as Wario Land.
Yes, but yeah, and Metroid.
Even under the assumption that it was Mario Land, I got the ranking. So it's a B tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We were pretty solid on that one. Wario Land's cool.
Yeah.
They need to make more.
Yeah.
Bring them back. Make like Super Mario Bros. U, like new Super Mario Bros. Like style Wario Land.
I mean, with how well received Pizza Tower is as
a
like Wario Land clone, there is absolutely a market for a new Wario Land game.
Yes. Pizza time.
Strange as it sounds, a lot of my experience with the Wario Land franchise is actually with Wario World on the GameCube. Which is very much rooted in the concept of Wario Land, but in a more 3D environment.
World of Wario Craft.
It is a very fun game, and is actually one of the original 4 GameCube games that I own.
Nice.
Let's see. What were the first? We got 4 GameCube games from KB Toys back when that still was a thing. And we got our GameCube shortly thereafterwards. It was Luigi's Mansion, Wario World, I think. World Tour, which is kind of a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater clone type game, but instead of skateboards, you're on scooters. It was interesting. And then SSX Tricky, a snowboarding game. Yeah, I think we got a couple games afterwards too, because I also remember Robotech Battle Cry and Pikmin being very early entries in the GameCube collection. Yeah. I know Colin has opinions on Robotech, but like...
Macross is better. Robotech bastardized it.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely. I also am just more nostalgic towards Robotech because the Macross dub didn't exist when I was getting into it.
Yeah. I'm glad they redubbed it properly. God, the Macross dub is so good.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I want to watch that again soon. Such a good show. But anyway,
Yeah, but
I
Robotech, you do get the benefit of Cam Clark voicing Max Sterling. And Jack Archer, if you've played Robotech Battlecry. And he voices Jack Archer in the same voice that he voices Kratos Arion in Tales of Symphonia, which is fantastic.
Liquid Snake.
Oh yeah, he also voices Snake.
Liquid!
Brother.
I'm McDonald Miller. Anyway, I mentioned
Master
Wario
Mill.
was I mentioned Wario was going to be a double because our next franchise is Wario based again. But like we said, it's completely different because it's WarioWare, the most ridiculous, wacky collection of minigame collections ever to exist.
Correct.
They are so bizarre, but they're so good. You just love them anyway.
Yep.
It's part of the appeal.
Yeah. I played a few demos of WarioWare for the Game Boy Advance through Wario World on the GameCube because GBA link cables.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun there. It was fun enough for me to go out and rent WarioWare Mega Micro Games Inc. for the GameCube one weekend from the local Family Video. And it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Fun. Very interesting, though.
Yeah.
Lucas,
you had WarioWare at C. Neal had WarioWare at B. Where did I put it? I put it at C.
Yeah. As enjoyable as the, somewhat absurdist content of the Wario game, or WarioWare games is,
it's not like a game that you just go and pick up off the shelf and play it.
Yeah. It made for a good rental back when rentals were a thing.
Yeah, it's a really, really good,
Yeah.
it's a super fun party game. It's like a really good novelty franchise.
Yeah.
I'm really glad it exists and they keep making them because they're really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's not like a game that you're gonna sit there and be like, well, I want to play a game today. I think I'll play some WarioWare. It's more something you pull out when you're playing when you want to play a game with friends. And you
it's
play
it's
it
like
there.
the Jackbox party game of
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, fun party game filled with very much absurdist content.
Also, the Wii U version of WarioWare is absurdly expensive and it's dumb.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's like over $200 complete in box.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And of course, it never got ported to the Switch
Right.
because Wii U.
It's
Oh, yep.
yeah. It's like one of my first ever YouTube subscriptions was to a channel by the name of N64 Mario, and they were way back in the days of one of the DS Mario or WarioWare games. Were making Mega Man themed WarioWare mini games in the Create a Game. They're pretty cool. They also were attempting to make a Mega Man game using the Mugen fighting game engine. They eventually moved to the Multimedia Fusion, I think, for Mega Man Unlimited. But yeah, that exists.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I mean, they introduced Yoku Man in a game. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, WarioWare. It's a very good C ranked game.
Yeah.
And to be clear, like C rank doesn't mean it's bad.
No.
Like it's just not quite there with the stuff above it.
Yeah. I will say, especially 9 volts mini games in the GameCube, WarioWare are some of my favorites because they're all like nods to classic NES games.
Also, some of my favorite WarioWare is actually the stages in Smash Bros.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially the one with your mom that comes into the room and you're supposed to be sleeping.
Yeah.
You have to hide from her. Friggin' love that stage.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move along. We only got 3 games left. And our next game is one that I really like. I talk about it on almost every episode.
Sure do.
It's a franchise called Xenoblade Chronicles. And Lucas, you rated it at C. Neal gave it an A. And that was one of my S tier picks, naturally.
Yep, of course.
That's fair.
Completely in character.
Yep.
I debated. I was originally going to only have 2 S tiers, and it wasn't gonna make it in there. And I was like,
What?
well, there was another another game that I was like, well, I can't not put this game in S tier. So if I'm gonna go above 2, then I might yep, I can't not put Xenoblade in my S tier. That's my game. Yeah.
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 I'm mostly down in C tier due to unfamiliarity with the series. I'm absolutely
fair.
willing to go up with the ranking.
Yep. I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not only
from
am
A.
I unfamiliar with the series, but my really only exposure to Xenoblade Chronicles is Shulk in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, because...
Back scratch.
Yes.
Back scratch.
Yeah. I can't even say, like, Pyra and Mithra and Smash Ultimate, because I don't have those expansions. So.
Me either. But I didn't know they existed until, like, 6 months ago.
Yeah. I knew they existed. I just, not really.
Well, I really like
realizing how much of impact Xenoblade Chronicles would have on this podcast, really, or outside of this podcast from just Colin's influence. Like, Colin has single-handedly drummed up interest in the Xenoblade Chronicles series for me.
It's really good.
Same.
After being a long-time hater, well, I wouldn't say hater of the series, but like, back in high school,
give it a chance.
Back in high school, I had a really bad encounter with someone online, just kind of like turning Project Rainfall into the center of the universe, and they were trying to get into Let's Playing, and I was trying to be supportive of them, and it was like, hey, can you not talk about Project Rainfall for the 3rd episode in a row, please? And they reacted very poorly to it, so I've kind of protested the Xenoblade Chronicles series ever since.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, all of Colin's influences kind of got me reconsidering that. Especially because all 3 of them are available on the Switch.
They are. And it's complete. Like, they actually completed the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all of the games, like, aside from their DLC expansions, are complete experiences by themselves. But, like, the whole overarching, like, gigantic story arc that began with Xenoblade 1 and carried over into 2 and 3, like, it's all wrapped up and concluded in all of the DLC expansions. It's just like some of the absolute best storytelling I have ever witnessed in video games. And I play a lot of RPGs. I have witnessed a lot of stories in video games. And it's just phenomenal. Like, Tatsuya Takahashi and his team of writers are just such brilliant minds when it comes to just creating a story that's full of emotion, yet like having all of these little threads that just tie everything together and then bringing it all back around at the end in extremely satisfying ways. It's just, I haven't come across a series that has really done it the way that Xenoblade has done. And the way that
double spinning edge, double spinning edge, double
Oh
spinning
God,
edge,
my
double
ears.
you know it. The clipping. Oh my God, the clipping. No, the proper sequence is double spinning edge, double spinning edge, double spinning edge. I'm not done yet. I'm done. Because what happens? What happens is Rex pulls all of the aggro away from the tanks. He gets to one of his call outs for when he's at low health is I ain't done yet. And then when he gets knocked out, one of his call outs is I'm done. So you just have double spinning edge. I ain't done yet. I'm done. And he just lays down and just falls and collapses on the ground. It's so funny. Oh my God. Yeah, it's a phenomenal franchise. And I'm glad that Nintendo has allowed Monolith Soft to thrive so much with them, because like Square Enix didn't believe in them. Like Bandai Namco didn't believe in them. Although granted they believed a bit more than Square did. But
Yeah.
Nintendo was finally just like, you know what? You help us out on these other projects because you've got a lot of talented people in your studio. You help us out with things like our Zelda, Animal Crossing, Splatoon. Just lend us a hand when we need it. You guys do whatever the hell you want over here.
Yeah.
And it's shown so much.
Yep. They've had involvement with Splatoon, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, their own thing. Didn't they even contribute a little bit, maybe kind of to Scarlet Violet? Or am I just making that up?
I don't know if they did anything with Scarlet Violet.
Well, they should. Those games
They
are
should
a mess.
have. Yeah, they should have. But yeah,
I'll-
as far as I know, like the main ones are Splatoon, Zelda, and Animal Crossing that they contribute to. Splatoon and Animal Crossing is more just providing assets and artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Zelda, they actually were very heavily in the world itself and like designing Hyrule and getting the game up to run as well as it does on the Switch hardware.
Speaking of designs, as of the most recent Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC story expansion, they turned Shulk and Rex into like peak Arc System Works anime fighting game characters.
Yeah, they did.
So Xenoblade Chronicles Arc System Works fighting game.
God, that would be so cool. That would be great.
Yeah.
They should do it.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, even like a Grand Blue Fantasy style.
Yeah.
A Grand Blue Fantasy versus style Xenoblade game, where there's still like an RPG mode, but it's a Arc Systems Works fighting game at the same time.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. But anyway,
where
are we gonna plop it? Are you guys gonna give me that S tier, or are we gonna go A tier? It's up to you guys, because I mean I am highly, highly biased, obviously.
Yeah, I'm willing to go A tier with Xenoblade.
Okay.
All right.
That's what I think. So
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another one like Fire Emblem also is like Nintendo has said like that's their like next generation of their like flagpole franchises.
Yeah.
As well, which is why we've seen it thrive and grow so much over the last few years on the Switch.
Yeah.
It's just cool that it's all happened on the Switch specifically as well, because it's
pretty much, yeah.
It's all right there. You don't have to go like multi-console generations to really get at it. The exception being Xenoblade Chronicles X, but that's not like part of the overarching story that the mainline ones tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll put Xenoblade at A tier. I will allow it.
Yeah.
And we'll
If
move
it
on.
weren't important to Nintendo, they wouldn't have all 3 of the games ready to play on the Switch right now.
And I would also like to point out just another like tootin' Monolith Soft's horn a little bit more. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was finished like so far ahead of schedule that they moved its release date up 3 months last year. No, 2 months. Yeah, they bumped its release date up 2 months last year because it was done so far ahead of schedule. That's like unprecedented, especially in 2023. Like,
yeah, where game companies are releasing games unfinished, like 3 months late.
Yeah. And here we are. Our game is done. It's just sitting here ready to go. You know what? We got an empty spot in July here because Splatoon needs a little bit more time in the oven. Let's put Xenoblade out. It's ready.
Yeah.
It's just Monolith Soft is just one of the greatest developers around right now.
Yeah.
And Nintendo knows it.
Yep.
Thankfully. So let's move on. We got 2 more games to go. One of them is a little bit bigger than the other one. But first, our next game is just the Yoshi franchise. So do we count Yoshi's Island
Yes.
with this?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Super Mario World 2 is Yoshi's Island 1.
Yeah.
For the most part, Yoshi is treated as a separate franchise and just makes appearances in Mario games.
Like Super Mario World.
Yeah. But yeah, it got fun games like Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
See,
let's go to our rankings. Lucas, you got it at B. Yep. Neal's got it at C, and I put it at B.
Yeah. So I have it pretty low because I realized there's not that many good Yoshi games. I realized while we were talking,
I mean,
the Woolly World and
Woolly and Crafted are.
Yep, I forgot about
good,
those.
But they're like, but they're also like baby mode difficulty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
But aesthetically, they're cute, so like I get a pass.
They're in like Kirby's area.
I think they're a little bit lower than Kirby on the difficulty scale, actually. Like,
I didn't find them more difficult than Yoshi's Story on the N64 was. So that was, I would say, a game of average difficulty.
Yeah, but they're aesthetically pleasing as well. I like that. Like the art style does prop them up a fair bit.
Yeah, and I mean, aesthetically, Yoshi's Story was modeled after a pop-up book, so it's got a lot of like the like cardboard environments with like denim blue jean backgrounds, sort of like Woolly World and Crafted World.
Yeah, see, the thing is, when I was considering it, I was thinking of the 2 DS games that kind of preceded the Super Mario World 2.
Yeah, Yoshi's Touch and Go and Yoshi's Island DS, which is not a remake and actually a sequel, as we found out last night.
Yeah, it's Yoshi's Island DS is okay-ish. It's not nearly as good, and I really don't like it because they added a bunch of new babies, and some of the new babies are way more annoying than Mario.
Oh.
Which, if you played these games,
how is that possible?
Yeah. Part of the reason I don't like Yoshi's Island that much.
Yeah. I like the first one okay. Baby Mario is the most annoying aspect of that. Other than trying to 100% that game. Don't do it. Just don't try.
Yep.
But there is actually also Yoshi's Island. What is it called? Yoshi's New Island. And it is completely forgotten because it's not good. It got a lot of bad critics for being called New Island. It's kind of similar to New Super Mario Bros. That there's not actually all that much new. It's just more Yoshi's Island gameplay. It doesn't even have the additional babies that the previous game had. And it's clunky, and the music is bad.
How about Yoshi's Cookie?
Yeah, I don't know if that counts, but I've never played them, so do you have knowledge of Yoshi's Cookie? Wait, Yoshi's Cookie... Yoshi's Cookie is the puzzle game.
Yep, it's a puzzle game that JJ claims to be esports.
Oh, okay.
And honestly,
Interesting.
I believe that because that is a super fast-paced puzzle game.
Fair enough. I
Uh,
was thinking of, what is the other one called? Hold on. There's another spin-off.
Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Yoshi!
Yeah,
You're really
there's
good at
a-
that, by the way, Colin.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, there's just a NES game called Yoshi.
Yoshi,
It's a
yeah.
very mediocre puzzle game. It's like
Is it?
columns almost.
Oh, no, I forgot about Yoshi. Okay, so not only is there Yoshi's Cookie and Yoshi, there is also Yoshi's Safari.
Ah, yes, the third one.
Third spin-off, which is an interesting first-person shooter game with Yoshi.
Yeah,
Huh.
on the SNES of all things.
Yeah.
It's a game. I
Yeah.
believe it's compatible with the Super Scope.
Oh my.
Yoshi's Safari, now with illegal poaching.
Yeah. Yoshi's Island starts out really, really strong as a franchise, and then like completely goes all over the map with the rest of its quality. So that's actually why I rated it so low.
Yeah, I wasn't really entirely sure where to put it, honestly. I would entertain a C rank on it, like hearing how
Yeah.
not great a lot of the games were.
Yeah. I played a ton of Yoshi's Story during the lifespan of the N64, and then retroactively got into Yoshi's Island on the SNES, and one of a handful of games that Baka and I have played through together on the Switch was Yoshi's Woolly World. Haven't gotten Crafted World yet, but we had a lot of fun with Yoshi's Woolly World. But yeah, there's definitely games of questionable quality. So I felt B was a good spot for it.
Put it at the top of C.
That seems
Alright.
fair.
That works.
All right. Now we have just one franchise left to go. Some people, not necessarily the three of us here on this podcast, but some people would say that we're saving the best for last. Because that last franchise just so happens to fall last in our rankings today because starts with the last letter of the alphabet. It's The Legend of
Yeah.
Zelda.
Zelda is my favorite character.
It's kind of a legendary franchise, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, Lucas, you have Zelda at A tier.
Yep.
Neal has it at S.
Yeah.
And that was my fourth and final S tier on my ranking.
I don't know how you can put that at S when the CDI games exist.
All right, fair.
Okay, but like Nintendo themselves have said that just pretend those don't exist.
Yeah.
like literally Aonuma himself is like, yeah, we just don't talk about those.
I do.
The entire reason that those games exist is because back when Nintendo was developing the CD-ROM attachment for the Super Nintendo, first they started with Sony, and then that fell through, and then, well, we all know what happened and became of that. But they were also, after the Sony thing fell through, they were pursuing something with Philips, with a CD drive designed by Philips.
Yep.
And
Wasn't part of the reason that the Sony thing fell through was because they were also doing stuff with Philips?
that could have been it. Possibly. Like the
Wait.
details on there are a little bit murky, but they were working on one with Philips as well.
Yep.
And
As
then-
one would do, because Sony and Philips both co-developed the CD standard
Yeah.
that we know today.
Right.
So upon noticing how poorly the Sega CD was performing on the market, Nintendo decided, all right, we're just gonna cut our losses here and we're just gonna scrap it. And part of their settlement with Philips was that they could take some of Nintendo's characters and make their own games for release on what became the Philips CDI. And then that's why we got Wand of Gamelon and whatever those other two were.
Faces of
forget the
Evil
name.
and Zelda's
Faces-
Adventure.
Yes. And
Which
somehow
Zelda's Adventure recently got a port to Game Boy, which is cool.
Oh my. Oh, well, like somehow with Zelda's Adventure being like the most like traditional Zelda like of the bunch, it
Yep.
ended up being the worst one.
Yep. Filled with very bad live action FMV.
And like every screen transition was like super slow and it would cause the disc to spin up to load it.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Like,
yeah, so
we give Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil crap all day long just for how goofy the animations are that Animation Magic did, but like those games are beautiful by comparison.
yeah. But yeah, those games, I mean, they exist, but they aren't really tied to, like, not even like in a non-canon sort of way. They just like aren't tied to Zelda as a franchise.
Yeah. About as common as they have with the rest of the franchise is that Zelda's there and Link is there.
Yeah. And he's so bored he could eat an Octorok.
And King Harkinian is wondering what's for dinner.
My boy, this piece is what all young warriors strive for. But yeah, here is
Yeah. I exist to remind the world of the CDI Zelda games in the same way that I exist to remind Final Fantasy fans that 3 is 6 and 2 is 4.
Yeah. Thanks. So yeah, like the most bare bones explanation that I can give, I don't think any other game franchise out there, just period, not even Nintendo, I don't think any other game franchise out there has been so consistently highly rated throughout its history. Like, just think about how many Zelda games have a 95 or greater, even a 90 or greater.
Yeah.
It's a significant chunk of them. Like,
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time, I have my issues with that game, but it is a 99. The only game, I think it's still to this day the highest rated game of all time.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is a 97. Tears of the Kingdom is a 96.
I'm sure they'll
Like-
get up there eventually.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, even just like personal feelings of the franchise alone, just acknowledging the sheer weight of that accomplishment, I think puts it's gotta be an S tier franchise for Nintendo.
And probably just I'm probably just being overly critical of it because opinion.
I mean, the Master Sword was bees.
the Master Sword was
You can't hold that against it, Lucas. It was a randomizer.
Yeah. That wasn't part of my decision though.
Or was it?
Yeah, I'm
I don't
just going
I
through
don't think it
Metacritic
actually
right now,
was.
and the only like first release of a Zelda game that looks like it's actually yellow is Triforce Heroes for the 3DS.
Understandable.
Yeah. It's okay. Metroid also got a garbage 3DS game.
Yeah.
Of course, I also wouldn't really rate Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword on the Wii very highly. Granted, I haven't actually played Skyward Sword. I mostly have heard like secondhand that it was average.
I like Twilight Princess, what I've played of it, and I haven't played Skyward Sword yet either myself, but I have heard that a lot of the issues people had with it was tied to the motion controls,
Fair.
and they fixed a lot of that with the Switch port.
Yeah.
Like, I think overall the story in Skyward Sword, I think people generally look favorably on it.
Hot take, Majora's Mask is a better and also darker game than Twilight Princess.
I don't know if that's
I would give you
anymore a hot take
the
anymore.
darker for sure, certainly.
People have warmed up to Majora's Mask a lot more.
Yeah.
I just like the N64 Zelda game engine better than the one they used for Twilight Princess and kind of also Wind Waker. But unlike Twilight Princess, I actually really like Wind Waker, so
Wind Waker is really good.
except for the sailing and fetch quests. But yeah,
Oh, they
That's-
fixed that in the Wii U version
Yeah.
for the most part.
only kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
They fixed They fixed the fetch quests, but yeah, sailing is still kind of a chore.
Well, there's fast sailing now, so it's not as bad.
Fast.
Air quotes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I finally just...
You get to sail at double speed, which is still a lot of sailing.
I finally picked up a copy of Wind Waker HD this weekend also. I'm sick of waiting for that Switch port, so I just bought it. It's actually less expensive than it's been going for, so which is why I was like, no brainer, bought it. Because like it's like freaking $80 on eBay now.
Yeah.
I paid $60 at TGW, so
I paid the
That's
price
fine.
of the Wind Waker HD Wii U for it back in the day.
I still want to buy that Wii U. I see them pop up every now and then.
If
I'm
I didn't have one already, me too.
Yeah. It's like I see them pop up every now and then. I'm like, but I already have a Wii U that I'm not using regularly. Do I really want a second one? I mean, I bought 3 Nintendo Switches already. I have a problem. Also, I do want to address one thing about Zelda. The Zelda timeline is fake. Nintendo only made it up so nerds would stop arguing about it on the internet, but they're still arguing about it. Every Zelda game is a reboot unless it's a direct sequel. There, I said it.
Honestly, kinda, yeah.
How many direct sequels are there?
Not a whole lot.
There's Majora's Mask, which is a sequel
Is
to
Majora's
Ocarina.
Mask a sequel?
It is.
Yes.
Ow.
It is Link on his quest to find Navi after Navi leaves him at the end of Ocarina of Time.
He goes back to being a kid at the end of Ocarina? I've never played that game all the way through. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, puts the Master Sword back and actually gets to live out his childhood.
Okay.
Instead of going 7 years in the future and trying to live in the like bad future hellscape Hyrule that he's
Gotcha.
But yeah, the Majora's Mask and Tears of the Kingdom, and I think weren't the DS games sequels to each other?
I believe so.
Like Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass?
Yeah. I believe Twilight Princess is also in a way a sequel, or at least according to the timeline, it follows the Majora's Mask plotline, where Link actually goes back to the Lost Woods after leaving Termina and ends up turning into a Skull Kid, or Stalfo, because he doesn't have a fairy because Navi left him. And that's the like ancient skeleton warrior guy that you fight and learn skills throughout Twilight Princess.
But yeah.
Oh, Oracle of Ages is the sequel to Oracle of Seasons, is the sequel to Oracle of Ages, is the sequel to Oracle of Seasons, is the sequel
that one.
Yeah. The Oracle games are fun.
Yeah. I've also heard good things about Minish Cap, as long as you don't like get heavily obsessed with the side quests.
Yeah. Link's Awakening's good.
Yeah, Link's Awakening is fantastic.
Yeah. Zelda 2 sucks.
I think if they remade that game with like Metroid Dread style graphics, it'd be sick.
Yeah.
And like, cause like it did do one thing really, really good, and it gave us that awesome freaking cave theme.
Yes.
You know the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zelda 2 had a very good soundtrack to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are several other better platformers on the NES.
Sure are.
Including any of the Super Mario Brothers games, all 6 Mega Man games, even 3, Metroid,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wait, what?
It is possible to beat that game, apparently.
Yeah, I never did it back in the day.
I've never even played it.
It is.
I have the Cowabunga collection. I was more focused on playing the arcade games than I was playing the NES games when I.
Yeah, I mean those are the good
fiddling
ones.
with it. Yeah. Yeah, the arcade games are hard.
Yeah.
But they're designed to kill you and eat your quarters, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, they actually give you like a little button input in the Cowabunga collection that just lets you like spam, I think, the Y button while you're holding down something else, and it just fills your lives back up. like you're putting more quarters. It simulates you're putting in more quarters, basically.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's like I think I died like 60 times in the original arcade game.
Yeah.
It's like a freaking like it's like a 20-minute game. Like it's not that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. Anyway, Zelda's our final game of the franchise of the day. It gets
Yeah.
an S tier. So to recap our tier list, now that we have finally made it to the end. At S tier, we got Kirby, Metroid, Super Smash Bros., and The Legend of Zelda. At A tier, we've got Mario, Earthbound, Donkey Kong, Splatoon, and Xenoblade Chronicles. B tier, comprised of Pokemon, F-Zero, Fire Emblem, and Wario Land. C tier has Yoshi, the franchise, Animal Crossing, Punch-Out, Star Fox, and WarioWare, and our D tier failures, Game & Watch, Pikmin, and Kid Icarus. And now, let's move along and bibbity bop on over to our weekly Link to the Past. So, this week, rather than doing date of recording, we found something that we liked a little bit more on the day this episode goes live. So, as of the day that you are listening to this, assuming you are listening to this on the day it goes live, which is going to be May 30th of 2023, Mario Kart 8 turns 9 years old. It released on the 30th of May, 2014. One of the best-selling games of all time already, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
It just keeps selling. It's like over like
Well, they
I
just
think
keep putting more tracks in
it's
it, too.
over like 50 million copies sold or something like that.
Of the Switch version.
No, just I think Mario Kart 8 just in general. It might just
Oh,
be the
just-
Switch version.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could be either, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it might actually just be deluxe that it is like 50 million copies sold. That might not even be including the Wii U one. Because it is sold, if I recall correctly, it has sold more copies than like people who bought Wii U's.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not surprised.
but this is the original Wii celebrating today, not the Switch
Yeah.
port.
Yeah,
9 years
this
Best
This- the
selling
Wii-
Wii U game, period.
Smash did Smash sell less than Mario Kart 8?
I believe so.
Really? Okay.
I mean,
I don't know.
Mario Kart is the one that's consistently selling like month after
Right.
month.
Yeah.
Smash for Wii U is 4th place for best-selling Wii U games, behind New Super Mario Bros. U, Super Mario 3D World, and Mario Kart 8.
Right, 3D World. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch has, as of right now, this is on Nintendo's site as of March 31st. So their most recent like fiscal reporting, 53.79 million units sold for the Switch version.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U sold just shy of 8.5 million copies
Yep.
by comparison.
And I mean, it makes sense because Mario Kart 8 is just, for the most part, is better than Deluxe. Or wait, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, I had that backwards. The Switch version is better for the most part. The battle on Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U was not great at all. Nobody liked it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Deluxe, I don't much play the battle on that. It kind of feels like an afterthought as well, and just like anything we do will be better than Mario Kart 8 Wii U.
Yeah. Even with that said, Mario Kart 8 is still the best-selling game on back-to-back game consoles.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. It is a very pretty game. which is important because that really hadn't happened with Mario Kart. Like, the best looking Mario Kart game before this was Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
That is the next best looking one.
Yep.
This is the first HD.
Yeah. HD wasn't really a thing on the Wii because, well, it was just an overclocked GameCube.
Yep, pretty much. But yeah, there are minor differences too, like the double item feature is added to Deluxe. And I have heard people say that kind of ruins it. That like the way coins work differently because you didn't have an extra slot and you had to hold on to it. So there was like an interesting meta game that you were playing with what item you held on to. But also the other big difference is that Mario Kart Deluxe, everything comes unlocked besides the new DLC. So Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, you had an actual progression and you unlocked stuff. We talked about this in our episode, I believe.
Yeah.
Where we ranked the Mario Karts, but like that is something that disappointed me about Deluxe is that I didn't get the joy of going through all the tracks and beating them and having to get good at them in every class because it's just all unlocked in Deluxe, which I guess is nice for the people that previously owned Mario Kart 8, but that's significantly less people than people who did.
Yeah. That being said, still one of the best Mario Kart games available. And
Yeah.
I know because we ended up landing on exactly my tier list.
Yeah. Yep. Mario Kart 8 is great.
Yeah.
Even if you have the Wii U version, you're not losing a ton.
Yeah. Well, maybe now with like all of the DLC tracks available.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's a fair point. Now there's going to be literally double the amount of tracks on the Switch.
That being said, there's still a ton of tracks available in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I was just recently commenting on, like, because we bought Deluxe, me and my dad bought Deluxe before the DLC started at all. And at the time, it was like, holy cow, this is a lot of tracks compared to the Wii. And that's a lot of tracks compared to Double Dash.
Yeah.
They just keep adding. And I don't know what they're going to do for Mario Kart 9 or Nintendo Kart or whatever, but they're going to have to include a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
Or it's going to feel very small. I am completely uncertain on what the road they're going to take with their racing, if it's going to be Nintendo Kart or Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart 9. Double Dash 2. I had a theory that it was Double Dash 2 because of the lack of GameCube tracks, but then that changed with the most recent one, so I really don't know.
Yeah. We also can't forget the ever-important Luigi Death Stare meme that came out of Mario Kart 8.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, happy birthday, Mario Kart 8, you freaking crazy game that just doesn't stop selling, so Nintendo won't make another one because people keep buying you.
Yeah.
Curse you.
We're gonna make even more DLC tracks.
Yeah.
That's honestly...
I think it's
a
pretty safe
likelihood,
to
too.
say it's going to be at least until the next Nintendo console comes out before we get a new Mario Kart.
Yep.
Yeah, which sucks because that means there's not a Mario Kart for the Switch that's original.
Yeah.
And no, I don't count the DLC tracks.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next time we get like a Smash Bros. Style Mario Kart. Just start
Nintendo Kart.
dumping a whole bunch of Nintendo characters in there. Just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Come on, give us Diddy Kong and allow him to race.
Anyway, let's get on out of here. That's going to be the end of a very long episode 27. Lucas, where can they find you outside of this podcast?
You can find me on several places, but now everything is all in one place. Visit.
Ooh.
I started a link tree, so you can find me and all of my links at linktr.ee/ Karn_evil_999, and that will give you links to that one game long play archive and the podcast and my Twitter. So
Or
yeah,
will it give you links to the past?
maybe.
I mean, technically, yeah. There's links to the past videos on the
There
long
is.
plays.
There's a link to the past episode of the podcast. There's a segment on every episode except for maybe the first 3 or 4 titled Link to the Past. So yeah, I guess it gives you links to the past as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite what I was thinking, but like I definitely could throw on there and update periodically, just like a random seed for LTTP randomizer. That'd
there
be
you
fun.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can Neal be found outside the podcast?
Well, soon I am going to be making a link tree too, but not yet.
Oh
So,
God, now you guys are just going to peer pressure me into it, I guess.
yeah. Pressure.
Find us in the trees.
Pressure pushing down on me.
But yeah, I am VMK89 on the web, Twitch and YouTube. It's just VMK89, and on Twitter it's I am VMK89. But I think you can find me by just typing in VMK89 Twitter, because that's my regular name or nickname or whatever you call it. But yeah, I do weekly streams on Twitch called Minecraft Monday, where I play Minecraft on Monday. Also, by the time this episode goes live, or at least shortly after, there should be Super Mario World, our previous episode, video on YouTube.
Yahoo!
I am very nearly done wrapping that up, so I should have it all set to go by the time Tuesday rolls around. And I put a lot of work into it, and Colin put a lot of work into it if you heard the audio.
Yahoo!
And yeah. And I'm happy with it, so check it out if you have not already, at least for the intro. It's not long this time around. Celeste was significantly longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the main places you can find me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a terrible ending.
It's been a while since we recorded an episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, as for myself, if you're watching / listening to this episode on YouTube, you can find you are already in the right place. That is youtube.com/delicious morsels. I am also on Twitter @deliciousmorsel. And also, there will be links to my music profiles on Spotify and Apple Music in the description of this podcast, where all of my music from that one game episodes is available for streaming. Hopefully, the Super Mario World songs are not far behind. I haven't heard any issues yet, so they're probably just taking a long time to process them, but they should hopefully be live soon-ish, hopefully. But you'll find them if you follow me on those profiles on Spotify or Apple, because you'll get notified when they release. Anyway, as always, if you liked what you heard here today on this very long episode, please be sure to hit that subscribe button where that's an option. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts because I hear they like that stuff. Hit the like button if that's a thing, and feel free to share this episode with a friend. We're going to be back in a couple weeks with another episode, but until then, have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember,
Play for the cows.
Stay for the Bears.